Don't touch her.
What's up with her back?
Nothing you need to be concerned about.
Is this the point where I should give you the knife back, or should I still hold on to it? I was a little unclear.
I don't know what's going to happen, but keep me away from Will. Do not let her come up and try and help, whatever happens.
So what you're saying is that tomorrow you might be so hungry you won't just smash windows?
We might have to bring a human back.
What?
We might have to bring a human back for her to feed on.
Bring a human back? What are you talking about, Jim? Where are we going to get a human? Why are you even saying it like that? A human from?
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to tonight's episode, to the third episode of Blood on the Thames, a Vampire the Masquerade Chronicle set in London, England. Unfortunately, we don't have Rachel with us today. She is with us in spirit, and hopefully she's still in the chat with us. But we will persevere anyway. And I'll jump straight into it to try and keep things moving and introduce the players.
Hi, I'm Carlos, and I play Moses of Clan Nosferatu.
Hello, I'm Peter, and I play Benjamin of Clan Malkavian.
Hi, I'm Philip. I play Jim Roy Woods of Clan Gangrel.
Okay, so leaping straight in where we left off last time. Straight in where we left off last time. Apologies. The coterie, having recently gained their own domain, has been setting about trying to solve a few personal issues in the form of Darren Fitcher, an individual, a Kine, who was previously taking up residence in the area. They evicted him through their mortal residence in their own hotel, Mrs. Moravsky. However, due to Darren's volatile nature and the equally volatile nature of his friends, he came back, assaulted Mrs. Moravsky, and has assaulted members of the coterie themselves. Angry, suitably, Katia and the others have made a point of trying to track down Darren in order to educate him on the dangers of interfering with the coterie and their domain. Thanks to some legwork put in by Moses, they managed to track down Darren's associates, having already worked out where Darren himself lives, and at the urging of Katia and Jim, decided to go there to try and pay him a visit. Upon arrival on the scene, a over-enthusiastic Ben not only managed to deduce that there was no one moving around inside, but also broke the door in the effort. Gotta love those messy criticals. And upon sneaking inside, Jim began helping himself to a few valuables. Moses had a look around. Moses wasn't there. Apologies. Katia was having a look around. Yeah.
That's the thing.
So good that I forgot he wasn't there. So Katia began having a look around, and Benjamin, sticking by the door, was trying to play it safe, trying to ensure that people outside couldn't see into the building and see that the door itself had been busted. Jim, having a look upstairs and turning off that ever-leaky faucet, moved into the bedroom, whereupon he witnessed a gritty and posed scene. Will Sparring, the individual that he'd come to find, had been arranged post-murder. And that is where we left last session. And that's where we will pick up. Pick up. What's wrong with my words today? I'm blaming you.
Yeah, I took all of his English for myself today.
He did. So, Jim, directly in front of you, having moved this door open, you can see with the curtains drawn, allied across the edges of the room, these candles, having been worn down to stubs, no longer lit, but through virtue of your keen eyesight, you can pick out the rough edges of the room. You can make out where bits and pieces are. It looks largely untouched, and in itself would probably just be some sort of decorative statement, the sheer amount of the candles that they've got. However, the disarray on the bed and Will himself are what catches your attention. Upon the duvet, knelt over, away from you, his back exposed, bare torsoed, you can see where whatever it is that's cut into him has severed the ribs from the spine, and the ribs themselves have been pulled outwards, with the lungs themselves attached to these points on the ribs, creating a kind of bloodied wing effect. And there's smatterings of dry blood all over the place. You can't really make it out, or mortals certainly couldn't make it out, but you can tell. There is dried blood over the duvet, the dried blood on the skin, on the trousers, on the legs, draped over the side. It's everywhere. But the way he's posed, it takes you a moment to realise, even given the severity of the injury, that he's dead. He seems almost posed as if he's alive. And you can just imagine, with the flickering of the candles, it'd probably come across that he was. But now, he's unmoving, directly in front of you, and your senses are alive with the smell of blood. Dried blood, though it is, you can smell it, and it is strong. What are your hunger levels?
2.
1.
2, 1, 2. Katia's, I believe. Was it 3? I think I had 3 down for Katia. One of you was on 3. Yeah. Okay, yeah. What are you going to do?
Katya, Ben, get up here.
Katia, you see her from the corridor, immediately turns and looks towards the stairs and starts moving towards it.
Well, I won't get in Katya's way,
Okay.
but when she's gone a few stairs up, then I'll follow cautiously.
She goes up, limping though she is, still slightly from the injury in her side. She's making a beeline straight towards the door, and she's the first one through it, with Ben bringing up the rear, and just stops and looks. And then there's a strange look that goes in her eye as very slowly she begins stepping around the side of the room, not stepping on anything, taking care not to disturb it. But then she reaches into her coat pocket and just pulls out a small pad, opens it, and just begins either making notes or making very rough, quick sketches just as she looks over the scene. But otherwise she doesn't say anything. What are you doing?
I think probably freaking out. I think that's probably the fair response here.
That would be the sensible thing to do, I believe.
I mean, also my heightened senses are up, so I'm assuming I can see this in really perfect detail.
Yes, you can. To you, it's almost as though the entire room was lit. Every cut on the skin, you can see. Every unflattering and disturbing twist of the bone, and the way that the lungs are kind of pierced and held in place by them, these shards of bone, you can see. And there's a part of you, the artist in you, and that part of you that you were beginning to think perhaps inherited from Edmund. Certainly since your last discussion with him, this seems something he'd find interesting. You can't help but look at it through the artist's lens. You begin noting the arrangement, noticing the way that his arms are stretched from one corner of the room to the other, not beyond what they could do, but certainly to the degree where his shoulder blades are probably dislocated and held in place by ropes that have been nailed into the corners. But how he's arranged, it's artistic. It's almost done, well, certainly done with purpose. But the arrangement, but you're torn between horror and what are you guys doing? Katia's still moving about the edge of the room. She's just making notes. She's not going so far as to breach halfway in, but she's going back and forth making small notes.
I'm staying like in the doorway, I think, looking kind of horrified, but also really looking and being horrified, if you know what I mean. I'm kind of something like that.
I moving past. We need to get out of here very soon.
In a moment, and Katia reaches into her coat and pulls out what looks to be a little vial, and pulling on what looks to be one of those kind of blue latex gloves, she takes one and just starts moving closer towards the body.
Fucking magic. See what. Have a look at what you see. This is the world we live in. I'm gonna move past Ben and go to the bathroom and try and remove any form of fingerprints that I may leave.
Okay.
Over anything that might have touched.
Oh, from the tab, yeah.
Yeah.
When
And of
did you
course,
go to
over
the
things
toilet?
downstairs I've touched when I've been.
We should go. We should go.
Cleaning up.
I'm going to go. I'm not quite going to go yet.
Exactly. As you're repeating this, Katia just kind of shoots you a look out the corner of her eye as she moves closer, and she reaches across with one finger and very carefully, just as she's about to touch it, she stops, grabs the end of the pen, and just tries to scoop a bit of blood in. And the effect is that she dislodges more than she should. To an outside observer, it doesn't seem like much, but to your eye and your knowledge of forensics, you know that she is just disturbed the crime scene to a noticeable degree. Any onlooker probably wouldn't notice it, but someone that's skilled in forensic might. But she doesn't seem... She either doesn't care or doesn't notice. Mm-hmm. You're guessing it's probably the latter, knowing Katia. Yeah. And she scoops some into the vial, presses down the top to seal it, puts it back, and then immediately moves past you towards the door.
Okay, well, I'm already wearing latex gloves, if you recall, so I'm going to go and I'm going to... The thing is, looking at the crime scene... Hang on, Ben isn't going in yet. He's thinking. Mm-hmm. He's thinking, if I was to try and do something to make it... Is there any way to do anything that won't just effectively just be more disturbing of the crime scene? Like, because I guess... No, she's just torn it, hasn't she? There is nothing I can do to...
Essentially what she's done is the blood pattern. This is purely because you know forensics to a degree. The way that the blood's run from the injury, actually roll intelligence plus investigation with forensics. This will be difficulty 3.
2.
2?
2.
Okay. You can't make out directly whether or not what she's done is going to be particularly damaging, whether or not this is a big screw-up. But you know that the way that the blood itself has run, it's not like it's been decoratively moved about by whoever's done this. It's fallen in a set pattern. As he's bled out from this injury, it's...
So an attentive observer might realise that someone has come afterwards and then made it.
Someone would note that where the blood coming from the wound has dribbled and fallen in a set way, there's some blood that doesn't hold to that pattern. And it's a very minor thing, but anybody that knows forensics will note that could only have happened by the scene becoming disturbed.
And I'm assuming it will be like really super hard to try and clear up the new blood spatters or anything, because assuming it's still bleeding in some way.
It's hard, but I mean, if you had more on you than you currently have, and you were willing to come back and try, you could try. It would be hard, because this isn't cleaning the entirety of the room of evidence. It's trying to clean the room of one particular bit of evidence, which is essentially a blood spatter. It's not impossible,
but it would not be.
You certainly can't do it with your latest gloves.
I'd need to go back and get cleaning equipment and
stuff.
But
you could, in theory.
Okay, I'm going to leave.
Okay. Katia's already gone out to the landing. She's gone downstairs. You can hear her going down.
I've probably been downstairs already, cleaning up anything I've touched.
After you've been wiping it down, you move out onto the landing. Katia's already removing her gloves. We need to leave, and then opens the door, and she just steps out.
You said there are a few pictures of him on the walls.
Yeah.
Again, if there's one picture of just him, I'm going to carefully remove that from the wall, put that in my bag, and follow her out.
Okay. Is that a? I'll follow people following me out. Is that a good idea?
Let's just get out of here.
I mean, there's going to be police all over this place.
We can talk about this. Let's just get out of here. Let's go.
Okay.
I'm going to be looking more for if there's some sort of nearby alley which we can get into.
I'm not barging straight out into the street. Okay. I'm gonna kind of staying within the recess of the doorway, just have a look and a listen in case there's anyone around.
Katia's already moved down towards the end, past the gate, and she's not waiting immediately there. She's moved off. It takes you a few moments to spy her. Well, it takes you a few moments to spy her. You pick her up immediately. But there's not many people around at this point. You get the feeling this is probably an area that, unless you live there, you probably don't stay there a lot.
Yeah.
And most people have already moved off. And it's easy enough for you to find a window to step out, as far as you're aware. Are you moving off?
I mean, I'll go from the door. If there's no one around, I'll go out through the door. But I'll make sure my hood's up, my head's down, hands in pockets, and
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, you both step away from the building, you move away. You're uncomfortably aware of, as you move away from the door, you hear behind you. But you fight the urge to go back and try and pull it to, knowing as you have that you've already busted it. And you step away past the gate behind you, and you move off towards Katya. She doesn't say anything. She's looking at that house. But there's an impatience there, and there's an anger.
Poor girl.
Okay. And roll a, we'll say wits plus medicine.
Both of us?
Both of you.
wits plus
medicine. Difficulty
2.
2. You both
3.
note that the way she's standing and the way that she's holding herself, the injury that you watched her sport up the stairs and down, she doesn't have at the moment. It's gone. You also note that the way that she is staring and the way her nostrils are going and the way that her fingers are twitching at her sides, you certainly recognise that she's hungry.
I grab her and start moving her physically away.
The moment you do, she shrugs you off and then just starts moving off in the direction of your domain. It's a distance from here, but she's not waiting, she's just moving.
Let's go.
I'll see you later, and she just turns the corner and moves off.
We should take a different route.
Yes, we should do that. We should probably call Moses as well.
When we get a bit away from here, yeah.
All right. Are we going to go separate ways or stay together?
Let's best to stick together.
Yes, let's do that.
Yes.
So, where are you going now? What is your plan?
Well, Dim's plan is to not go directly to domain, but rather take a bit of a detour, maybe throw people a bit off the scent.
After we've gone a street or two, I'll be like, "Can we call Moses now?"
Yeah, fine.
Right. And I'll try and phone him.
Okay. Moses.
Back in my face. Bang. British Morgue, how can I help you?
Oh, sorry, I think I've got the wrong number.
Oh, fine.
I'm sure I dialed that correctly. Maybe I put it in wrong.
I'll give it a go. No, fine.
Hi, Jim.
Hey, Moses.
Everything alright?
Not particularly. We've managed to find Will.
Don't say too much in case the line is being...
Found Will, okay.
Yeah.
Where are you?
Close to where you gave us the information he would be.
Okay. And did you manage to talk to him?
There's what you might call a small problem with that.
Tell him to come here, quick.
Did you have a chance to talk to him, at least?
No.
Before...
You better. You've got your car there, right?
Yeah, I'm at my flat, my condo, but I can drive to the domain.
If you could probably pick us up on the way, it'd be great.
Okay, yeah. Sort out where to pick him
Yeah.
up.
Okay.
Put Foggy on the car.
Let's go, boy.
Oh, it's the other side. You're driving the wrong way.
Let's go, boy.
Wow. You guys move off towards this agreed upon location. You making straight for there, Benjamin kind of in that kind of trying not to seem suspicious by making yourself seem suspicious way that people do when they...
I've got that down.
Yeah. You both move off, and it doesn't take Moses much longer than about 10 minutes to track you down. And the car pulls up, stops, and you both climb in, and there's Moses driving with the fox on the passenger seat, just turning in, kind of looking at you both, and he pulls away.
There's... So good to see you, Moses.
What happened?
Lots of bad things have happened. Lots of them.
I think 2 words describe what's happened. Really,
Yeah.
he's dead.
No, that's an understatement. That's a huge understatement. He's not just dead. He was murdered and then opened up and then arranged and then.
Did you frenzy? Now that's what it sounds to me. For me, I mean, all I knew, he was alive, and you went to talk to him.
Yeah.
So that's my
He was
mindset.
dead
right
before
now.
we got there.
Oh.
Someone got there first, and it was really bad. But also, when the police come, I might have accidentally broken the door, and Katya's disturbed the crime scene. I saw it. They'll notice that someone came afterwards. So we have to decide if we're going to go back. Get things we need. No. We have to decide if we're going to go back quickly when we've got the things we need and try and clear up the mess we left behind us, or whether we just leave it and hope for the best.
Well, I've cleared up any fingerprints that I may have left, so they're not going to track it back to me.
No, but the body, she disturbed the body. They'll know someone went there afterwards,
No,
and they'll know from the door that someone came in afterwards.
Exactly. Why do you think I was stealing things?
How fresh was the blood? How dead was dead?
It was dry mostly, but there was still. When Katya did, there was still fresh blood that came out. He wasn't completely. It was. Probably tonight sometime would be my guess.
Probably during the daylight hours.
Could be.
Maybe, or I don't know.
So no one in the house.
Nope.
No.
What time is it in the night? It must be past midnight, way past. I had my tea time with Lucy. Went back to my condo, started working on.
You went to see Lucy early before.
Yeah, like 8 or something. Really early.
But before you were going to get disturbed by her aunt coming home. You went to see her, and then so it's not late. It's circa midnight.
Around midnight. Okay. Right now, if the police not there, could we safely assume that the police will not be there until maybe tomorrow morning when he misses, when he doesn't show up for work or whatever he does?
Or in the daytime, if someone sees that the front door's swinging open, they might go and investigate.
Yeah, but that'll happen in the morning.
Yes.
So we have a couple of hours.
If we're lucky, yes.
Okay. Did you kill him?
No, he was dead when we got there.
Then why are you afraid?
Because...
Did you leave anything that could track him back to us?
No.
I didn't. Pretty sure Katya didn't either.
I suppose that's right. I was just thinking because we disturbed it, we should try and hide it, that's all.
Yeah, what connects you... See how I remove myself from the equation. What connects you to Will?
Well, Darren connects us.
Now, Darren is connected to Mrs. Moravsky. We are the owners of the place. We're not hitmen.
Well, no, but I'm just saying that he attacked with his... And I suppose, I'm just thinking that there are connections. If someone was clever and was looking, we could get asked questions.
You did see the file I give you guys, right? And I park, pull up the handbrake, not leaving the car. It's like, okay, then turn around. You did see the file I gave you, right?
Yes.
So Darren pissed off a lot of people by snitching. And he blew the whistle.
Right.
Was no angel.
Was there a name on the file of say the biggest person he put away? Sort of the head honcho.
Not,
I have the
not on the
list.
file. Not on the file he gave you, because a lot of the information, it's odd. The file that he gave you is basically from news clippings, and whilst there was mention of people being put away, there wasn't specific names mentioned. Not on these files. You could get that information by probing deeper, but that would require you to either look in places where that information would be put, or ask people that you guys know would know.
So, nothing connects us directly with Will. And he had a lot of enemies. And then when we were thinking about that, Moses starts running scenarios in his head, okay, but what if I start running scenarios of local gang members or local gangs or high profile people and then try to find like a record of hearings, like court hearings, for anyone that had been like detained for drug charges or whatever over the course of a 12-month period, and try to correlate names from one and the
Off
other.
the top of your head.
Sorry?
Off the top of your head.
Would that be the correct way to go about it after I sit down in my computer?
I mean, you
Like,
could.
I could find the information here, and get like a rough idea of some of the names, and then use that to get an idea of.
You could, but
where
it's
to
a question
start.
of how quickly you can get that together to a degree where if it was looked at from an investigative point of view, how many holes in that story potentially there could be.
Okay.
I mean, if you're looking at it from the point of view where you can try and leave evidence to support that someone else did this thing that you guys didn't do, then it depends on how thoroughly. I mean,
That's the important thing. We didn't do it, and yes, I get it. Thank you.
yeah.
Did you see any CCTV around the area?
No,
I didn't.
I did look, but it's not that sort of area.
Great. Let's see what we can find, and let's see what puts you near the crime scene, so I can get rid of that.
That sounds like a
I'm gonna
good
spend
thing.
the rest of the night with this, apparently.
Oh right. There is something
I'm
else.
gonna be-
no,
I'm
but there is
gonna
something
be-
else we should talk about before you go. One is Katia all right? I mean, she seemed not as injured. That's really good. But she also
She went
seemed.
with you?
Yes. No, she was. Well, it was her and Jim that had the idea. They were very keen that we went. She was. I mean, and she was very very
Open
keen.
the
She
door
was
to the
keenest.
car, start getting foggy. I was like, I thought you guys have left her here. She was still injured. That's why I
She's
didn't
on-
want to
she's
go
on
No,
away.
she's
She's
not
back
injured.
to
She's
the
not
main.
injured. She's fine, but she's not. I mean, she's physically fine. Her injuries are gone, but she's
hungry.
She's on her way back to the domain to feed. That's what she's
She's
on her way
hungry.
to.
Quick question. What is Moses currently wearing? Or
Moses?
appearing as?
Oh,
Given that you just stepped out the car into...
overalls, big ones. Remember, winter is my best friend.
Okay. Keep in
And
mind
scarf.
that if anyone is checking, you will have your Bane difficulty
Yes.
to disguising will kick in.
Yeah.
Cool.
I just pull up my scarf and my coat. Come here, Foggy. And I pick him up so as to cover as much of myself as possible.
Okay.
Where are you going?
Inside.
Are we
Cold.
back? Sorry.
Yeah, you are
okay,
back.
Fine.
Okay, you step in through the front door, which you have to unlock first. As you go in, as you go back inside, you certainly, because your heightened awareness is still active.
I'm probably not now.
Okay.
Oh, well, no. I suppose when we first step in, but then I'm going to.
Okay. There is no other sounds in this place. You can't hear Will. You can't hear Katia. You can't hear anything. There's nothing in here.
Was Katia's friend Will staying here, or had she gone somewhere else?
Jim's going to move to go to the room where Will was resting.
Okay. You go down and have a look into her room. It's been cleaned, but not perfectly. But she's not there. All the rubbish and debris that she'd brought with her from eating the food and all the rest has been put into the bin that's there, but she's not there.
So while he's gone, I'm going to turn to Moses. I'm so glad you're here, Moses. It's been awful while you've been gone. Awful.
Not bad. But now,
Katia smashed my window with a hammer. She just came into my room and smashed my window with a hammer and walked out again. And when I told
what do you do to her?
nothing, I haven't done anything to. I think she was traumatized from the attack from Darren. I think it's affected her mind. And and all Jim said was that it was funny and that she should probably have a rest. That's it. I mean,
Are you sure you didn't do anything?
yes, I'm sure. I offered
Just
to help.
checking,
I was very
just
I'm very
You
apologetic
have to
about.
understand, it sounds a little bit...
Yes, doesn't it? It sounds like a disproportionate reaction, doesn't it? Without some kind of stimulus, and that's exactly why it was so terrifying. Because I was just in my room doing nothing, and she came in.
Yeah, I was going to say a little bit loco, but it's okay.
Yes, no, a little bit loco is exactly the right way to describe it. It was terrifying, and not a word of apology, nothing.
That's very unlike Katya.
Well, I don't really know her. Now I think about it, I thought it was unlike her, but maybe it's not. Maybe that is exactly what she's normally like. I don't know.
Did you smash her window?
No, I haven't touched her window. Why would I smash her window?
Retaliation.
No, that would be...
Would this be about the time Jim managed to walk us back?
Yeah.
Just don't.
Don't what?
Smash her window.
Of course I'm not going to smash her window. No, that's madness.
I'm glad I convinced you. Hi, Jim.
How was that?
There is something else that we should probably talk about, which is that there was all the business with the doors opening last night and things being moved
What?
in our room.
Doors
Did you not get...
opening.
Last night,
Doors.
when we woke, all of our doors were open, the lights were on, and some of my art materials had been moved. And I had not only shut and locked my door, but I put a chair under it.
The ghost painted.
No, nothing was painted. The things were just disturbed. But I'd put a chair under the door as well as locking it, and because my window had been smashed, I'd boarded the window. So it wasn't even like someone could have climbed in the window, but the chair had been moved, the door was open, and things were... And, you know, it's getting late, and we're going to have to rest soon, and I'm not sure how I feel about resting here. And I'm wondering if you have any ideas, because you know much more about these things than I do, about ghosts, if it is a ghost, and what we do.
Well,
Holy
I'll point
water.
out. I'll point out that
That's a
Mrs.
thing.
Moravsky has lived here for God knows how long, and she's still here.
But she only goes on the lower floors.
Well,
Maybe,
what is that?
maybe whatever this is doesn't go onto the... Oh, but the door was open. That wasn't... Oh.
You know what?
Maybe her room is safe.
Maybe she just knows more. Maybe she has an
I'll
agreement with
need
this
very powerful
entity.
computers again to check the CCTV footage, so I might sleep away tonight as well.
Because I was wondering about...
slowly sliding away.
I was wondering about sleeping back at my old abode rather than here tonight, because it is quite... Well, I'm just thinking, you know, it's not safe, is it?
Where in London is safe? Think about it. We just found a body in his own house.
Yes, but I have been in London for a while, and I've been absolutely fine.
Have you been in London for a while as a vampire?
Well, no,
Exactly.
but
Welcome to the new.
But what I'm saying is
Awful
if we were to draw this out on as a graph or in some kind of diagram, this place is by far more dangerous than almost anywhere else I could go and sleep, isn't it?
Well, yeah, wait.
Because in most places doors don't just naturally open themselves and things don't move themselves around on their own.
but-
And in this place, it's happened 2 nights in a row. 2 nights in a row. That's extremely strong statistical evidence against this place being safe.
It's not against this place being safe. It's evidence towards proving that it's a freaking ghost.
Don't you think
We should
that
get
also
like
equals not safe?
ectoplasmic like cameras or stuff and film it. Could we film it? That would make a lot of money.
But when you had the film, it just showed the lock moving of its own
Yeah,
accord.
but we had like normal cameras. We need like the ones that film like
Can you get
ghost stuff.
And what if this entity was to notice and that would just piss it off? Maybe it's just having a little fun. And that would piss it
Unless
off.
that ghost is recent, because if it's someone from the 1800s, they don't even know what a camera is.
I said maybe
No,
Mr. Moravsky knows
listen.
more. I don't know.
But hang on. But don't you... I mean, Mrs. Moravsky, for all of her many years of experience, as far as I can tell, is just, well, an old woman who runs a B&B. Whereas you're both experienced at being a vampire, so doesn't that mean that you know about this sort of thing?
Vampires? Kinda. Werewolves? They do exist.
What?
Yeah, but would fucking
Ghosts?
exist.
Werewolves?
Yes, they fucking
Well,
exist.
oh.
I have never seen one, but I'm not.
I don't know why. I find that much harder to believe than a ghost somehow.
No,
Right.
Me,
So-
they exist.
So hang on. So you're saying that this is, if this really is a ghost, because our only other option is it's a very scary vampire,
Who's playing with us?
then what do we do? That's my point. What do we can't just go on indefinitely with it opening doors every night. That's not a viable.
Speaking of which, I just remember that I left my rosary downstairs. I'll be right back. go downstairs, pick it up together with a couple of. That's 2001. Yeah, pen drives, very early ones, and like storage, like hard drive, like actual hard drives, removing them for information.
Okay.
Yeah, I need this to work.
So you're going to go back to work on looking at.
I'm going back to my condo and start trying to sort something out.
What about you?
Do I look like I have any other place to sleep?
If you had a choice, would you go anywhere else but here, or are you quite calm staying here?
Well, I have no other place to go but here, so I'm staying here.
Right.
You can stay in my condo.
Yeah, somebody should try and keep an eye on this place.
That's true. I think
That's
someone should
right.
probably be here. Someone should
Thanks
definitely
for
be here.
volunteering. Start walking towards the door until he freaks out.
All right, one more night. But if anything happens, I'm gone. I'm gone until this thing is gone. All right. Last time.
I knew it would freak out. It's okay. People can stay in my condo as long as they don't make a mess.
I have a place to go. I know, but you're right. We should probably. Should we? Jim?
Oh, I'm staying there.
It's not very reassuring, but all right. One night, but if anything happens, I'm gone tomorrow. Gone.
I guess try to take as much information as I can, because I'm really like tonight has been like a very one mind track for Moses, and it had been like Lucy, and now this had given him slightly different focus with all the Darren stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I'm gonna go at, for a second night. Also try and check. I know I had no emails from Alan Burr's firm, but just making sure, maybe nudge there a little bit, and just sit down and start looking for something, anything that can give me a clue about Darren, possible people that could have been apprehended because of Darren giving them up to the police.
Okay.
As part of
Well, you can have a look on that when you leave.
Yeah.
As you are collecting your stuff, you guys are having this. Where are you having this discussion, by the way?
Most likely in the lobby, locked doors.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're checking all the doors, making sure they're all locked.
Oh no! Like we go in, we lock the doors, and we stay in the lobby. In the lobby, I probably go downstairs to my room, collect what I need to do, what I need to get, lock my room, and come up back upstairs. And I wouldn't be checking the door until I leave. I would assume that I'm safe as long as we're having this conversation and I have my rosary nearby. So.
Okay. So you're doing all these checks, and you guys are still in the lobby?
Still in the lobby quite at the moment.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hello?
It's coming from the door.
Move towards the door.
I go downstairs.
Hello?
Hello?
Who is this?
It's someone looking to discuss with the owners of this place.
What about?
Would you mind opening the door? I can speak to you face to face.
Alright. Open the door a little bit.
I'm going to retreat somewhere out of sight, but where I can listen in.
You see on the other side of the door a gentleman with an umbrella. Quite a well-groomed gentleman. He has a suit which, whilst not ridiculously expensive, is certainly something that you'd probably buy for an important interview or something similar. And he's standing there with an overcoat on, and he's just waiting. It's not raining, but he has the umbrella anyway. And he's just glancing around as you open the door, and then he turns and looks at you, and then just... Would you mind if I stepped inside?
What's your name?
Tyler.
Tyler.
Would you mind if I stepped inside?
Surname would be nice, please.
Might I have your name as well?
Roy.
Might I have your real name?
Open the door.
Thank you. Steps past you.
There is the door.
Begins shaking off the umbrella. There's no water coming off there, but it seems more habit than anything else, and he ties it up. Places it against the wall and just takes his coat off and just sets it aside. Your companions, are they here? I'm on my own, I'm unarmed, I just want to talk.
What about?
Well, I'm guessing from your reaction to my name, you've probably hazarded a guess as to who I am.
Your surname would be Adams?
Yes. In the interest of transparency and honesty, yes. I am Tyler Adams. And I'm guessing the fact that you know my name means you know who I am.
And I'm guessing you know the order that the prince has called upon you.
Yes. So you can imagine that it's something of a leap of faith that I am here unarmed in front of you. Perhaps you'll extend me that same courtesy. If you plan on eviscerating me or throwing me out onto the street, then by all means. Otherwise, if I might bend your ear for a time. You've locked the door, there's nowhere I can go. I won't move from this seat. I just asked for a chance to speak to you and your companions.
They're not all here at this current moment in time.
Well, whoever is here.
Ben, you still there?
I don't think I'm going to answer.
Okay.
I guess it's just you and me.
You said there was someone else here?
Well, he may have slipped out. I don't know.
And the other two?
Currently not here.
Moses, where are you? What are you doing?
Obfuscate 1, Foggy, obfuscate 1. We're both obfuscated downstairs.
Okay.
We're not even in the place. We're just listening, whatever little can come down the stairs.
Excuse me.
I'm pretty sure
You're
he
checking?
knows all of us and he wouldn't have come here without people. Actually, no. I go into my room. I into my little server hub.
Okay.
And I check the security footage on the outside. I want to see if he has any backup.
No.
I want to see how afraid should I be of that.
You look over on the screens, you go between the exterior cameras, checking between each one diligently. You can't see anyone. At least, I mean, it's difficult. There are people moving around outside. No one seems to be paying outward attention towards the building, towards the crossed hands. But then you wouldn't know what to look for anyway. You have his name. And up until now, you didn't know what he looked like. If he has got anyone, how would you know?
Oh, because it's past midnight. Anyone out there is...
There are people moving out and about.
Okay.
I mean, this is London. There's always going to be people moving in and out, in and out. I mean, going to nightclubs, just out late, getting something to eat before they have work in the early hours of the morning, whatever it is. There's people moving back and forth, there's cars going back and forth. It's just not as thriving as it is in the day. But any signs that these are people that are linked directly to the guy that's in your building now?
I'm gonna regret this. I go upstairs.
Okay. The door opens. Tyler Adams, just quite content, just sits and just glances over as he walks in and just gives him a nod of his head. You get the impression that if he was wearing a cap, he'd probably doff it. But otherwise he doesn't.
Why? And I just shy away a little bit into a corner.
Why what, specifically?
Why
Quite an
are you-
open question.
Why are you here? You know every vampire in the city has pretty much an order to kill you under the
Not
prince.
pretty much has an order to kill you.
Anarchs don't follow that order if they don't want to.
Well, the fact that I am still
Well-
able to speak to you at the moment either means you're curious, uncertain, or you perhaps don't agree with that order fully. Either way,
Try scared shitless.
you and me both. I mean, are you sure there's no one else here?
No one else has answered.
Cat is hunting.
I need from
Out.
you
Yes.
a dex and stealth.
Yeah. Okay.
You need a subterfuge from me or whatever, or him, or no?
Well, no, you're out in the open.
Subterfuge. Yeah, to lie.
No, not yet.
Okay.
Well, actually, yes.
I'm being really specific about Katya out band probably.
Yeah, sure.
Right.
Actually, yes.
That'll be what?
That'll be manipulation plus subterfuge. Actually, no, composure plus subterfuge for you, and composure plus subterfuge from you. And then from you, I need dexterity plus stealth. 2.
So 2 dice for me. With 1 success.
One success.
Okay.
No, missing critical. That's good.
He looks between you both for a long moment, and then his eyes glance towards Ben's, roughly where Ben's room would be. Fair enough. Based upon the atmosphere here, understandable though it is, I appreciate my presence here as something of a unwelcome one. So I'll get straight to the point. I am here because there's the thinnest of hopes that you are not quite as barbaric as some of our esteemed colleagues.
You haven't met Kat yet, clearly.
No. When she returns, perhaps. Depends on how long this discussion is and wherever she's gone. But you've met with our esteemed prince and others, I'm guessing. So you can understand. It's a whole different world that you now reside in. I'm not quite certain how long you've all been initiated. I'm not sure the depths of your initiation. I'm only aware that you are all green, new, however you want to refer to it. And thus, I'm hoping unbiased. You're not tainted by idiotic tradition, by idiotic superstition. Let me...
You walk into the wrong place for superstition.
Well, that remains to be seen.
Okay.
But the fact that you are new means that I am here because I hope you might listen to me and understand where I come from. If you decide that you don't want anything to do with me and you wish to turf me out, then that is your prerogative and I will leave peacefully and I will not mention that I came here. If you wish to escalate matters further, I would hazard you against it, but I will not stop you if you try.
Sorry, ST. I'm thinking that Benjamin was probably going to do something.
Okay.
So I didn't specify exactly where I'm hiding, but I'm assuming I'm not in the lobby, or like I'm round a corner or something.
Oh, okay.
I mean, like near enough to eavesdrop, but not.
Okay. Wherever you would have been is where he would
He
have
looked,
looked.
sure, yeah.
But yeah,
So
you're
if,
close
if,
enough
if
to
I was
him.
in my room, that's fine or whatever. But I'm assuming my room, I wouldn't be able to hear what he's saying, so I assume I'm a bit closer.
Well, if you've got heightened senses.
Oh yeah, fine, okay.
Then you'd
So
be
if I'm
able
in my room, what I think I'm going to do, because I'm not going to assume he can hear me from where he is in the lobby. So I think probably do I have any? When we went to court, were we told of any kind of ways to contact the sheriff or?
You would have been given Marcus's phone number. You wouldn't have been given hers.
Okay.
The ghoul.
I'm going to text Marcus the Ghoul.
Okay. What are you going to text him?
I'm going to say to Marcus the Ghoul that Tyler Adams
Is he
has
in
come
this
to
stall
our
room?
haven and is currently downstairs in the lobby talking to...
Being stalled by us.
Yeah, well, I probably won't be that clever.
No, you're
Actually,
not.
no, I might be. I'll just say he's currently in the lobby.
Okay. And you're texting.
No, actually, no. I'll phone.
Okay.
I'm just
You're
thinking
in the
that
third
actually,
floor.
I don't think Benjamin's going to be a texter
Okay.
because he's not super phone savvy. So I think he's going to phone Marcus the Ghoul.
Okay. Good evening.
Oh, hello. It's Benjamin Green here.
Ah, Mr. Green, how are you?
Actually, I'm quite disturbed because I'm currently at the Crossed Hands, and downstairs in the lobby is Tyler Adams. I thought you should know.
Tyler Adams?
Yes, right now.
And he's there now?
Yes.
And you can hear him. You can hear him speaking quietly away from the mouthpiece, and then you hear from the phone. Is he still there now? Right now?
Can I still hear him talking downstairs? Yes, he's here right now.
Do your utmost to keep him there, and don't let him leave. The sheriff is en route.
Oh,
Constable. Apologies, STR. The constable is en route.
All right, thank you.
Okay.
So once that's heard, I'm assuming there's a back way out of the Crossed Hands.
Yeah, the body's down.
Yeah, downstairs.
Okay, so I'm gonna.
Unless you want to take one of the boards off and go out.
Or not that you
That's going to
the
take
board
too long.
off.
I'm guessing that'll take time though to take a board off. So what I'll do is I'll activate Silence of Death, and then I will run my arse off out the back, and then around to the front doors. I'll tell you actually. I'll take anything. I'm just thinking on the. I'll take anything like either an umbrella, anything I can use to effectively put through handles on the front doors, or anything to make it harder to open the door. Just anything I can grab. If I can't grab anything, I'll just go myself. I'll run all the way down, fast as I can, silently, and then once I get Elsie out into the street, a bit more calm,
Okay.
and I'm going to basically block the doors
Okay.
until the sheriff arrives.
Constable.
Okay.
Constable, sorry.
It's so used to B20. Apologies. I will need a
Yeah.
wits plus awareness check from you. He continues speaking.
The conversation. Yeah, we're not listening to what he's doing. Sorry.
Okay. I ask you to imagine a scenario for me. Imagine you underwent your embraces, and then on top of everything new, everything disastrous, every horrifying fact you'd been expected to understand and abide by, you also learnt that not only can you not reside with the kind, you also have to fear the people with whom you're supposed to now associate, because they want you dead, because they believe some idiotic superstition that the world's about to end. You have no safe place to go. Why should you not have the same right to unlife or even to life? They've already denied you the latter. Why can't you have the former? What is the point of anybody making you into kindred if you are just expected to roll over and accept death?
We're already dead.
You're not truly dead, though, are you? If you did not fear death, if you did not accept death as a different state, you would not be fearful of the constable showing up. You would not be fearful of the prince's wrath. I'm not here to try and convince you that, his way is wrong. But I do need you to listen. You are not safe. No matter how much you toady to them, it will never be enough. This is the same warning I have tried to give to everybody that has come to this city. And I cannot guarantee how much longer I will be here. One way or another I will be leaving London. Whether it's under my own steam or...
As a pile of ash.
Or a pile of ash. My time is running out.
Why haven't you left already?
Because I have other matters to attend to first.
And a lot of people that you've helped that can help you back.
Well,
Just saying.
a lot of the people that I have helped are not with us anymore. For the exact same reason that... Wow. That's not the point.
So that's what you...
So you're
Came
trying
to do
to
here?
convince us to help you?
No, I'm trying to warn you.
Hmm.
Get out of London. This is not the land of opportunity everybody promises you it to be. This is not some place where you can grip power and become more than yourselves, because they'll never let you do that. Of course they won't. And the Anarchs won't do it either. They claim they will, but who's to say they will? Now, at least Deacon Rhodes is not willing to just buy into the superstition and respects everyone's right to at least make the attempt. But he's just as hooked on power as anyone else is.
Jim's going to roll his shoulders and activate his toughness of fortitude, so that's a rouse check.
Okay.
Which is a failure, so hunger goes up by 1.
Isn't that a 9?
So that was a 5 on the.
Oh, the 5.
rouse check. So-
no, don't frenzy, please. I'm within claw shot.
3 for you, yeah?
Yeah.
So wait, hang on a second. You came here to warn us
Yes.
because.
Because you are not safe.
Yeah, no, okay. What's in it for you?
I'm on my way out. I might as well warn as many people as I can.
Why not send an envoy,
What's to say that I haven't?
an email, something? Why expose yourself to come here to talk to us, to warn us, just to leave? I mean, sorry, but I know a good Samaritan, but he's in the Bible. That's
I will
it.
confess the email is not something I immediately leap to as a form of communication. It's not something I'm used to. As to why I'm here, I will also confess that if you happened to be sympathetic to my plight, although I'm guessing from your companion's demeanour that he's probably not, I was hoping that there would be at least some chance of sanctuary. Not from the prince. I would not expect you to openly defy him or even subtly defy him, just as somewhere we could stop on the way out of the city, but I do not want to impose. It's
So you thought
testing the
that
waters.
a group of green vampires who had a B&B could work as a nice wayside hotel for smuggling inbloods out of
not
here?
smuggling us out. You are new.
Yeah, a safe house. So
you are new. With everything being as it is, with the constable being as busy as she is, you're going to be the last place that they think to look. They already suspect that I went to the Anarchs. They're already expecting me to be in one of their safe houses. It's the first place they're looking. They will come here to check. They will eventually. I don't have to be here. I did not plan on being here when they did. But if you're trying to escape, you don't go to the first place they're going to look. You go to the last place they're going to look and hope that buys you enough time to leave.
What's in it for us? Do you think that out of the kindness of our hearts,
No,
we
I do
would
not.
just face final
No,
death?
I do not. And I've spoken with a few people in an effort to try and sweeten the pot, as it were. From, I'd say a mutual acquaintance, but I think that's too generous. From an individual, I have found out the location of someone dear to you. I have also found out information damaging to each of you.
With that, Jim's going to roll another rouse check to activate the feral weapons. Fails again. And Jim's going to move forward.
You're going to go for it.
No, forward. Okay. What's in it
towards
for
him.
me? Not him. For me.
So for I think our viewers, the feral weapons means Jim literally grows quite some serious claws on him. It's very obvious.
So you guys watch as Jim's fingers almost seem to kind of lengthen slightly, and then bone pierces out of the end of his fingertips. The moment that you do that,
a little bit of potence, please.
the moment that you do that, he just reaches into his pocket, taps something, and then just stops and just stays there. Two individuals that you've taken note of outside of the building,
Yes.
who are watching you with interest. Immediately one seems as though they're going to be stepping towards you. It's only at the corner of your eye that you notice this, and the other one reaches across and grabs her, and she stops moving and turns and looks at him, and they don't say anything, but they exchange a look and mouth.
Can I see? I'm not like no expert lip reader, but can I see what they're?
You get we'll
Like,
say,
you know.
we'll say wits plus insight.
Oh yeah, okay. So wits. I think my insight is. I'm not very insightful. Right. 3.
3. You get the impression that at the moment that she is grabbed by her companion, quite a large individual, he stops her and she looks at him and says, "We can't leave him." And the response he said is, "He said go." And then as she's about to try and tear away from him, he grabs her, turns her, and then forces her down the side street away from the building.
I will, if I haven't already, make sure heightened senses are up, because what I want to do is get a look at what they look like, so I can give their descriptions to the constable.
Okay. Both of them are. The young woman is a dark-skinned individual, braided hair. She looks to be somewhat athletic, and based upon her attire, she's attempting to be nondescript. It's only, in fact, from the fact that she tried to breach the threshold of the pavement to try and make it towards the building that you caught sight of them. Mm-hmm. The other individual is a very strong figure with the kind of hairstyle that's shaved to be decorative with different patterns into it.
Yeah.
And based upon his figure, you'd expect him to have done some measure of weightlifting in this period. He's certainly of the brawlier figure. He's dressed less subtly, but he is moving very calmly, and when he takes hold of her, she doesn't seem to fight him, but she does offer a few looks back in the direction of the building. She notes you, and she seems on the verge of trying to double back, but he grabs her quite forcefully and turns the corner and goes.
Okay. Is there anything... I don't necessarily need it to write down, but if there's anything about, say, like the patterns in his hair that is particularly noteworthy, or anything about her, if you were trying to identify her in a crowd, I'll note those kind of details.
Based on a basic look, you'd expect them to be... It's a similar style to like cornrows, but like in a style that's kind of irregular.
Okay. That's the big beefy guy, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
She's just got braided hair.
Yeah.
But then they turn the corner and they're gone.
Okay.
How were you barring up the door again?
Well, if I was able to find anything that I'd put it like through the handles, I guess. Okay. But if I can't, then I will just be by the door listening. So if I hear someone coming for the door, I'm going to just hold it shut. With because I've realised I'm quite strong. I'm stronger than I look, because I can break doors.
I'm just wondering, like, because obviously the front of the building's out on an open street, so depending on how subtle you're trying to be holding the door shut, it looks quite suspicious if someone goes up to the door of a B&B and starts barring it from the outside.
I mean, I guess I would lean on the door, I suppose.
Okay. No, I'm just
as a starter point, and then if need be, I'll give up all subtlety.
Okay. He doesn't move.
I just like, what is it for me? I'm the one negotiating here. What is it? What's in it for me? And then what's in it for Katya? And then what's in it for Ben?
You just threatened us.
I didn't threaten you. It's not me that plans on using this information against you.
And I go and shove him off and just try and shove him against the wall.
He goes straight up against the wall. He doesn't flinch. He doesn't put his hands towards you. He just holds them out.
I reluctantly step back, like, as far as vampirically possible. The last thing I want is a frenzied Jin and me on the line, but I'll still keep the conversation. So, okay, Jim, you don't even know if he's Tyler Adams for real. He just gave you a name. For all we know, I'm Madonna. Come on, let him be. Let's know why he's here. For real. What is it that he thought he could offer?
I would recommend you do that before your friend's friend arrives, if the information is truly that important to you.
Whose friend's friend?
Your not quite here companion called the constable, whilst you were interrogating me. She'll be here. Well, she's usually quite prompt. I'd imagine you have maybe 15 minutes.
15 minutes to show the sheriff what I'm capable of, then, aren't I?
Oh, I know.
You'll never find your sire.
We'll see about that.
Okay. Make an attack roll.
Attack roll.
I obfuscate. While Jim is not looking at me. I just need him not to notice that I am still there.
That's 2 successes.
Okay. Also, what are your convictions?
The personal conviction is protect children from harm. The Chronicle tenets are thou shalt not kill save in self-defense, thou shalt not rape or torture, and thou shalt not harm the innocent.
Okay. How much did you get?
2 successes.
Okay. Pinned as he is, he instinctively seems to try and pull away, but your talons go straight across the front, and you feel them begin to tear in, and you are certainly witness to the fact his skin just parts like old paper as he just opens him up, and you can see the muscle underneath. How much damage was that? So 2 automatic from the claws?
From the claws.
Plus 2, so 4.
2.
Okay.
And, and because of the claws, they're not halved.
Yep, however,
Success margin?
it's the success margin.
Which was?
Yep.
Okay.
He got no successes.
Okay.
So it'll be 2, plus 2, reduced by 3,
Yeah, exactly.
and he only takes the 1. So even as your claws begin finding purchase, you find they don't go quite as deep into the flesh as before. Normally, when you do this, you tear through meat like a hot knife through butter. But you're finding resistance there, and as he doesn't move. He just remains there.
Okay, he's the guy. Happy? Jim, what have I taught you? We need to talk things through. Apologies, Tyler.
If the constable's on her way here, she's gonna...
We have 15 minutes of conversation to get information about your sire, and then have the constable deal with him. Would you please at least say that we kept you here forcefully, abiding by the tenets of the Camarilla and stuff?
It's your intention to release me, then?
No, it's my intention to actually literally know what we're talking about. You cannot drop that kind of bomb here and expect us not reacting.
Whilst I fully appreciate the dilemma you're in, and whilst I am... Could you let go, please?
Not a chance.
Well, then I stop talking.
Mm-hmm.
And he does just that.
Okay, I think it's time for us to call the constable. This is...
Constable's already on her way.
Too long. You call the constable?
No, your friend upstairs did. Or your friend wherever you were.
Oh. I'm just gonna make sure the constable has been called. I don't want to be called the guy who harbored Tyler Adams, and I start mumbling to myself while I walk away. It's a really awkward situation for me. I don't want to get in the way. And I call for Marcus.
Okay. She'll be very disappointed with you, you know.
That's not for you. It's not for you to decide.
I'm not deciding anything. I just happen to know Alicia quite well.
Right.
Well, you'll find out if you find her. Hello?
Marcus.
Speaking.
Moses.
Oh, Moses.
We have Tyler Adams.
In the crossed hands, yes?
Yes, we were keeping him here. What's taking so long? Like, I assume the moment he said cross hands, I think, yeah, Ben called. That's the only thing that could happen.
What's taking so long is a question you can ask the constable when she gets there.
No.
It's probably the wise course not to that. Rest assured, she is on her way with all due enthusiasm.
Well, we're trying to keep him here, but I mean, I don't want this to be like a big fight. I'm not much of a fighter.
It won't be. Rest assured. Is there anything else I can help you with, Mr. Moses?
Blood.
I beg your pardon?
Nothing. Bye-bye. And he started walking back to the lobby.
No, there's jokes.
Okay. He doesn't say anything else. Is there anything else you guys want to ask him or do in the interim?
What did you think you had on me? I mean, you're not saying anything for him, but why did you think I would allow you to stay in my property? Or what part of it?
He says nothing.
See, he had nothing. You've been mistreating him for nothing. Don't kill him, please. Don't kill him in the lobby, please. I don't want another ghost here, please. Please. Please.
Killing will be the sheriff, or will be the constable's.
It's not just me, I'm glad.
Damn it, Luke Ayres picking up as well.
Curse you, long-standing
It's a virus.
vampires.
Killing will be down to the constable.
Probably not.
I look at the window, start
Stops, and he glances towards the door.
waiting for the
Time's
constable to show up.
And indeed, time is up, because as you're looking down the street, you can hear the very soft, and despite how infrequently you've met her, uncomfortably familiar tread of Constable Jacqueline as she turns the corner, full trench coat, hands in the pockets, just making towards your building. And even at a distance, she has an uncomfortably potent presence. And there's something very unnerving about her. And you find yourself, without meaning to, stepping away as she approaches.
Absolutely.
Not just because of her status, there's something about her which is unnerving. And as she kind of steps up, she just moves straight past you without acknowledging you, goes to the door.
No, if I'm looking out the window, the moment she approaches, she's just gonna meet an open door. Like, we kept him here as long as we could. Your constability.
Jim's not holding him against the wall.
Tyler's not moved, still just standing there. And the moment he sees her, he just stands up, rushes himself down, and just turns and faces her. And she just looks between you with those prominent eyes, that page boy cut, that very pale skin. She's just taking you in slowly. She seems to ignore the environment, everything around her. She certainly ignores you as she walks past you. And then she just focuses on Tyler. Steps over towards him. And then she places a hand upon his shoulder. And then moves it over towards his neck. And as she just stares into his eyes, she glances towards the door.
Shut the door.
I'm stepping away, letting the feral weapons and the dufters both drop.
She reaches up.
He has information, Mrs. Constable.
She ignores you. Reaches up, places a thumb on his forehead, and just makes a small cross. And then grabs him by the chin and just, with such force that the neck twists all the way around, and he detaches. And then she's just holding his head as his body just drops. And she puts it down. Turns away from you and moves back towards the door. Steps straight past, pulls the door open, steps past, completely ignores you, and just walks back out.
As she's walking out, Constable, what would you
She
like
stops.
to do with the remains?
I mean, is it ashes, a skeleton? How?
Skeleton. Begins rapidly decomposing into a skeleton. And she just keeps walking. Doesn't say anything.
Fucking hell.
Marcus getting the cleaning bill.
I guess I'll slip back inside, shut the door and lock it.
Then we'll sit down. Fuck.
What? Oh, he's still here!
You can see next to the wall his torso and his head, which has been placed carefully upon the chair that he was moments ago sitting on. and the body is rapidly decomposing. It's like watching footage of one of those like animals that you see decomposing in rapid speed. It's like that, apart from the remains and stuff. You can see it filtering onto the carpet. Whilst there's no blood, it's disgusting to watch, and there's a rancid smell that comes from the decomposition that you can all pick up on. Even on the moments when it's purely when you're speaking and your body instinctively inhales that it hits you.
There are no heightened senses anymore.
Good to know. And you are left with the body, and that, I believe, is moment for the break. Well, guys, we are now going to go on to a 10-minute break. We will be back, and to resume from this point, I believe my players wanted to have another discussion, so I'll cut over to them, and we will be back in 10.
So I believe we're going to you first.
Yeah. So, as you have, if you guys remember, and for those new viewers, I'll let you know, I am making Moses' awesome list of places. It's basically a list of places where you guys are watching us from. I have it right here, and I'm an idiot because I was looking at the wrong place. So, this is a shout out to you guys. You are the reason we do all of this. So we really appreciate all your support. And again, thanks to the people from Australia, UK, the US, France, Germany, Norway, Uruguay, Venezuela, and Finland. We have 2 more places.
That's a hell of a lot of places. Oh my god.
There is someone who was last week on the chat. We're now being watched from Edinburgh as well.
Whoa.
And we have someone with really good, real good taste. A Nosferatu lover from San Antonio, Texas.
Hey!
You rock. So, yeah. I mean, if other clans don't have such a strong audience, it's not my fault. Nosferatus are coming out in force. I love you guys. Thank you very much for watching us. And remember, leave a comment on the chat or in the YouTube section or on Twitter with the hashtag. Sorry, I ran out of English for the session.
Happens to us.
Yeah. Moses' amazing list of places. Because I just want to make a long hashtag. Thanks.
Milk.
Sorry?
Milk.
Milk. We could have milk.
If you want to do
Hashtag.
if you do,
It's valid. Hashtag milk.
So I'll step away from you.
Nope. There we go. I think your heads are not showing.
Yeah, I'm coming down.
Oh, okay, cool.
All right, so as we say each week in the break, we update the relationship map. So there's not lots and lots to do today, but
Additions.
up here you may see there is Abigail Bennings, but we discovered actually Abigail Bennings was not her real name. So her real name
Maisie Thatcher.
is Maisie Fitcher.
Fitcher. That one. Oh, Thatcher is the other
And
one.
observant people notice that is the same surname that Darren has, because this is his daughter, which we learnt. And the other addition is Will Sparring, who we found, apologies Rachel for the art, but that we found with his ribs opened up and posed in rather grim fashion with all the candles at the end of last session.
Actually, he's temporarily there, in the relationship map because we don't have a relationship with him per se, or not anymore at least. But we are keeping it there so we remember that's the focus of our investigation and
Yeah, so obviously
what we're doing.
Will is dead, so you could argue he shouldn't be on this board, but because we still very much something we're trying to figure out, he's going to be there for a little bit longer. Now, the other thing observant people notice is we promised string last week, and we now have string. So I'm going to mention. Well, actually, I'm going to hand over because this is yours, not my string. It's your string, so I'm going to hand over to you.
Now there's a couple of blue strings, and as you remember, blue strings denote relationship with mortals. And Moses shows here a relationship with Foggy, which is his mortal famulus or fox ghoul, super awesome, and I like the way you described it, outrageously cute fox.
Yep.
So Foggy's right there, and you met Lucy last week. It's a very important little girl for Moses. It's also mortal, so nothing creepy going on there. There are more blue strings on the other side of the board that belong to Jim, and well, Phil
Yeah,
can tell you.
that's from where, of course, Mr. Payton, who came up last week, connecting my view on him to me. That's the simple thing of that.
And I believe that now that we're talking with relationships between our vampiric characters and mortals, just now a little talk about how mortal is the mindset of a vampire.
Yeah, okay, so just one last thing to say on the board as well.
Oh.
For those who weren't with us, blue string represents connections to mortal characters, whether they're ghouls or not. Red is vampires and black is players, just for anyone who wasn't aware. So yeah, we like to talk a little bit about V5 system each session, and this time we're going to talk very briefly about humanity, because humanity is a very key part of vampire. It is how much of your soul you've still got hold of, and is very important in terms of how able you are to resist the beast and how quickly you arise each night. People who watched last week's session will note that some of the characters woke up earlier than others, because if you're more humane, you get a few more hours to enjoy, and those of us whose souls are kind of shriveled up have to sleep longer as the night goes on. And one of the things about a vampire is they don't have much humanity left within themselves, and to hold on to things they believe in, they have to have a living, breathing sort of avatar of that thing, which in V5 is called a touchstone. And I'm going to hand over to Carlos to talk a bit more about that.
So, touchstones, as Peter was saying, were this tangible, physical, living, breathing representations of some human convictions, some, let's call it, at some points it could be morals or things that are worthy of a human soul to admire. And these touchstones are the physical embodiment of those things for a specific vampire. So it can happen that someone has a touchstone, and that particular touchstone is a ruthless criminal part of the mafia, but he happens to be like an amazing father taking care of his kids, and that little bit could be enough for a specific vampire to hold on to that, of that person being a father figure, a protective figure, someone who is absolutely awesome, especially when he's absolutely awful everywhere around. Other touchstones are simply that, people that are innocent or that represent values, people that were related to the vampire by blood, maybe generations down the line, and it keeps them thinking about that connection, or people that were the relatives in life of a very new vampire. And those interactions can be present or at a distance. You can have a touchstone and sit down and play pretend coffee or pretend tea face to face, or you can be away from your touchstone while having pretend coffee with somebody else, but keeping tabs on them. So it's a way for the vampire to keep themselves grounded and avoid the beast taking over.
Yeah, so it's to give a sort of flippant example. If you imagine maybe when you were growing up, you may have been told to tidy your room, but actually, if you were left to your own devices, tidying your room would be quite a difficult thing to do, because why would you want to bother? You know you should do it, but you don't really feel it. That's a little bit like vampires with the things they believe in. However, if there is a living, breathing human who is encouraging you to tidy your room, say a parent, for example, then suddenly you become motivated to do it. And because vampires are dead, they can't hold on to the conviction alone. They need someone to represent that belief for them in the world. And if that person, for whatever reason, stops representing that belief, or dies, or something happens to them, then the vampire starts to lose that. And with that, they will lose some of their humanity as well. And we've only, in this session, just started to see the introduction of touchstones. We've met a few of them. But as the game goes on, you'll get to see that their fate is very much tied to the fate of the vampires as well. How are we doing for time on the... Cool. So, and more on that in future sessions.
Thank you very much. Remember, #milk
Oh god! Oh god!
What?
I think I got it wrong. It's Mal.
Oh, Malp. Malp. Oh no, this is
Oh
staying here.
god!
Malp. Hashtag whatever works.
I'm scared by this hashtag.
Yes,
You
I
should
am.
be.
I'm just gonna search for
Milk.
milk just in case.
Anyway,
Yeah,
Sadly, there's
that's
gonna
going
be
to
a
go
lot
in the
of-
chat now, isn't it?
Malp. Malp is okay. Malop. Something like that.
We'll
figure it out. You have it.
okay. Okay.
So, straight back into it. With the the constable, I'm not okay. I'm allowed 2 more of those. 2 more, and then you can start sending hate messages. So, as the constable begins moving off, she doesn't look back. When you were watching her leave, you can just see her frame. A striking contrast as she's moving down the street. She's not alone as she's moving off down the street, but she cuts the image, and she stops about halfway down and then just turns the corner, moving further towards the south based upon what you glance. And then as you shut the door quickly behind her to ensure that nobody can glance over towards this headless corpse in your lobby, you are startled by how rapidly it is decomposing, how quickly it's turning from what moments ago was a living individual into this years and years old corpse that has long since started the decomposition process. And the smell is rancid.
I thought she was going to arrest him.
Yeah,
She's a constable.
Yeah, but
That's what constables do.
bloodhound means kill.
Yeah.
We have to. Katia must not see this.
No, she will smell it.
She must not smell this. She'll. Who knows what she'll break? Could one of you deal with the body? I'll get some cleaning. I've got bleach. But I can't the body. If you can do I can do everything else. All right? Is that fair? Is that fair?
Let's roll him on the rug and throw the rug away as well.
Or yes, you do that, and I will clean up the rest. Good. I'm glad we've had this discussion. I'm gonna go.
Marcus again.
Bing. Bing. Good evening,
Marcus?
Mr. Moses.
Yes, you'll be glad to know that the constable has arrived, has dealt with the situation, and promptly left.
Okay.
Dealt with the situation in our lobby, on our carpet.
Mr. Moses, might I be frank?
Yes.
The Blood Hunt requires you to act upon these things immediately.
We did.
The fact you involved the sheriff...
I'm left.
The fact you involved the constable... You are no longer fledglings. You are neonates, and you are expected to be able to protect your domains from any individuals. If you are incapable of doing so, then the prince might reconsider.
I'm just saying, I need a new rug.
If you'd like me to pass that message on to the constable, I can do so.
Or let me know of a good cleaning service. And you know what type of cleaning service I need.
Personally, I don't.
Someone that can take care of, obsolete bodies.
With the utmost respect, Mr. Moses.
I don't want to touch it. Please, it smells awful.
And you can tell, I mean, it's odd. I mean, as grandfatherly as he sounds, there's a subtle edge to his tone. It's not quite being It's not quite nearing frustration, but it is reaching it's the kind of tone your teacher takes with you before she's about to lose her rag.
Got it.
With the greatest respect, Mr. Moses, the condition of your rug is not neither mine or the constable's concern. All things as they should be, the situation should have been dealt with you and yours. The fact that the constable had to be contacted at all. I'd rather not mention the condition of the rug and your concerns about it to the constable after she's just had to deal with the situation herself.
Okay.
Of course, if you really wish me to escalate the concern further, I can mention it to
How
the
well do
prince.
you know the constable?
I'm not privy to all the information regarding the
No,
constable.
basic stuff. Like, it's like, does she like to dance?
This is not really a discussion I feel comfortable having regarding the constable.
What did she study? Is she religious? Did she join any youth movement?
I'm not certain
I'm
how.
joking. I don't expect to tell me your life. Have a good night. Okay, that guy is useless. Sorry.
Marcus.
No, poor
He's
Marcus. Like I needed.
Block these numbers.
I needed that information because now I know that we're supposed to be taking matters in our own hands from now on.
Although that was kind of mentioned to you when you took the domain on.
Oh yeah. But that's what we told him, that he could like call people. I meant us, but now I'm trying to be clearer. That means no, the constable.
So I'm going to come back with my cleaning materials, I guess, and I'll say, so,
Yeah.
So what is left of this body at this stage? I mean, is it just like
It's
a really
getting
old...
to the point of kind of like a skeleton covered in mulch. It's like a chicken bone when you've gotten most of the chicken off of it.
Okay, we grab the rug from one end. Try to bring.
No, wait.
everything to the
You're
center.
going. No, we'll need something that isn't going to leak, won't we? I mean, surely if we start wrapping up in a rug, the rug is
mulch,
going
but
to.
it's not like really, really wet mulch. It's not like he was.
Let me get some kind of. I'm sure I've got something upstairs. For work.
Plastic bag.
It's been decomposing as it is. Why don't we just leave it that little bit longer so it fully decomposes? Then we deal with what remains. Because then be dry.
No. I'm just going to go and get the thing.
Okay. You run upstairs and grab it.
I assume we will be dealing with this for the rest of the night.
It depends on how thorough you want to be. It's worth noting that the rug that he's on is the carpet for the lobby. If you intend on rolling him up, you will have to take up the whole carpet.
No. The lobby is tiles, black and white tiles. Like the floor of the whole lobby is black and white tiles, and there is in the seating area there are rugs. And I assumed he was on a rug because he was standing on the seating area, but it's black and white tiles.
Okay.
Chest-like.
In that case, it's just.
Well,
over the flooring.
Okay, he's all over the floor. Yeah, you're gonna have to bleach the floor.
Fine, I'll do that.
Don't bleach the black out of the black tile, please.
I'll lay out the plastic and say, if we can use the rug, and by we I mean you, can use the rug to help lift him onto the plastic, and then you can wrap him in it, and then I will clean all of the business that's left behind on the floor. I think that's a fair distribution of labour, don't you? Good. So you do that. I can't look at this much longer. I'm telling you. But you do the and then cover it.
Jim gets up from the seat and goes, "That took a little more out of me than I expected. I need to hunt before I do anything else."
What?
Stop walking towards the door.
What?
Can you please help me with the body into the plastic? I'll take care of it and I'll burn it. The bones are not gonna burn.
Those will crash in time.
You help me out.
Alright. Put on the plastic and then
Put it on the plastic and then go
goes
on
out the door.
Okay.
To hunt.
Lock the door, Moses. Lock the door.
Jim's locked the door behind him.
I will start dragging the plastic out of the lobby and into the reception. There, you have your area to clean.
All right. Before I, you know how to sort of fold things so all the gooey, so it doesn't leak. You know how to fold it in and keep it all in, don't you?
Yeah, I do this all the time with
Good.
every
Oh,
single decomposing body I find.
Good. I'm so glad you're here. Right, I'm going to. Right, I'll start very methodically, and I'll get all my cleaning stuff on, and
I just look at
because
the...
art spaces are very messy sometimes,
Yeah.
right? I'm used to cleaning. So
I just
the
look
poor
at
struggling
the,
artist.
At the
Okay,
mulch.
so I'm going to need a resolve
yes,
plus. Ooh, say this investigation.
yeah.
And Moses is helping you. Do you have any dots in investigation?
Yes, I do.
Right, then you get one additional dot because I'm counting this as teamwork.
Okay.
So,
I'm having
Does
this
my
reception.
specialty count?
yes, it will because you are hiding forensic evidence.
Resolve the expedite.
Such as it is.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. 3.
Okay. It takes a long time to get this all up. It's not so much the evidence itself, because once it decomposes and turns to mulch, it's more a case of just trying to clean it and bleaching the crap out of the floor. But it's the smell. It's the smell more than anything else. Not only looking at it from a point of view as it's the kind of smell you'd expect when there's like a rat that's died somewhere and been left to fester for a while. It's that smell plus the fact that it just doesn't seem to want to leave and overpowers the smell of the bleach, and that's what you're mainly combating in. And it's through diligence and repeated cleaning and the application of, certainly from Ben, perhaps some air freshener or something similar. It's lessened. It's not completely gone, but it's not as strong as it was. And the remains of Tyler is connected up into the bags and double bagged, I'm assuming. And the head as well. The skull. You now have the remains of Tyler in these bags.
I take them out down the basement and into the tunnels.
Okay.
They sit there until I can get rid of them tomorrow, because I assume it's going to be late at night.
Yeah. At this point,
it's going to take more than a couple of hours just to clean up that mess.
Whilst you are doing this, Jim, what is your plan for hunting?
With it being quite that late at night, Jim's plan, because he knows he needs to feed quickly, will be to take the Sandman route into sneaking to someone's house to feed.
Okay. In that case...
Microphone.
No, I know. I'm just looking at the screen. Because we have nifty notes there now. In that case, I will need you to roll...
I believe it's Dex and Stealth.
Well, to find someone, it's going to be... Wits plus... We'll say streetwise.
Yeah, which uses entirely hunger dice. Crap. That's 2 successes.
Are you hunting in your domain?
Hunting in domain.
You can succeed at a cost.
You really want to
Or
succeed
you can
at cost.
fail.
No.
There's a 1 there, mate.
There's a 1?
There's a
No,
there's a 1.
no, at a cost.
Wait. There's a 1 and you've... on there.
There is a 1 on that, yeah.
Okay.
So in theory, I would succeed. This is definitely the time to succeed at cost.
This
isn't
is
it?
succeed at a cost. You will still have this compulsion.
Oh,
I'm going to pull up my phone on it so I can... Which I have on it. Well, I have a thing of So I can see what the compulsion is. 'Cause I don't know.
It's okay, your compulsion is gonna be coming at you the old way. Paper trail.
Yeah.
What's your hunger?
3.
Ouchie cheese. See?
Apologies,
Obfuscate
guys.
behind him when he gets angry.
I mean,
Save
at
lives.
least he's outside.
Yeah,
I mean, like if this happened in the building, I'd be quite scared because
it almost happened in the building
Yeah.
while I was there.
yeah.
Could be worse. I mean,
Yeah.
not much worse.
Yeah.
Can I have a conversation with Moses while you're?
Yeah.
Is that right? So I'm going to say, Moses, I had a conversation with Jim recently, and I'm not sure if I fully understood, but if I did, he intimated to me that when he wishes to find blood, that he grabs people off the street. I think that's sort of what he was saying, and should it come that I need to find some blood, because whilst my Edmund is very generous and things, I don't want to overstep my bounds, and I have the feeling that until I've finished something I'm working on, he's not going to give me any more. And I'm concerned that I'm already feeling quite hungry. I think it's probably this business of us being, I suppose, neonates now. Maybe, he didn't really talk to me about it, but maybe this means things have changed. Anyway, I don't want to grab people off the streets, Moses. Is there any other way to do this?
Yeah.
Because I only really know, well, being sort of given it, and what Jim said, and what Jim says scares me. So I'm wondering if you have any. I'm not desperate, but I thought it'd be a good idea to talk about things before I was desperate.
Do you want a list of things in order of priority,
unsavoriness? I mean, I don't want anything violent, and I don't.
Okay, you can ask for it.
What? You can't, because you're not allowed, because that would give away everything, wouldn't it?
No, you can pretend that you are a doctor doing blood donations and a blood drive.
Yes, but I don't think I'm very convincing of that. I think I get nervous and then
You
I talk.
definitely are not.
I'm not sure that's. What about anything else?
Yeah, you can have a herd.
A herd? What, of geese or something?
That too, but you can have a group of mortals you could use to regularly feed.
Where do you find that sort of?
Maybe
there are groups of people who want to give up their, like blood donors.
This would be more like a group of sycophantic, fans of your work that also feel the thrill of the kiss whenever you drink blood from them.
There are a few admirers of my work, but it does feel a bit of a stretch. Isn't that nice?
That means that your herd would be small.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Well, something I can work on, I feel, but I don't know if
there
does a lot of talking and.
There's another one in which you just convince them to step outside for a little bit, have a cigarette or a drink together. You can also dance with them. I can teach you some moves so you can seduce them in the dance floor.
This sounds awful. So what you're saying is I have to be violent, or I have to go through some kind of excruciating social exchange, and if I'm not careful, I'll break the masquerade. Is that what this is?
There's always animals.
Oh, really?
Oh, come on. Were you like a vegetarian?
No.
You ate meat.
Yes.
Now you're drinking instead of.
I know. I mean, you don't know where they've been, and they might have diseases.
Some of the meat, and you still ate it.
But it was cooked. It's different. It's cooked.
You liked sushi.
I mean, yes.
There you go. That's wrong.
No. All right. So animals.
Moses won. Then, like Gazillion, you have a lot of valid points to be discussed, but it's okay. I'm counting down.
All right. So, what? I just go to the vet, not the vet, the pet shop, and like a late night pet shop, and buy a gerbil or something.
How about going to a house where someone's sleeping? Feed off of them while they're asleep.
But wouldn't it wake them up?
No, not if you do it like softly, quiet.
Oh, I can be very quiet.
Okay.
I mean, I can be very quiet. And I do like the idea of not actually them knowing. I think it's just the idea. It's so embarrassing.
No one will know?
Yes. No one knows. I like the sound of this.
Would you like to try it?
I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not exactly enthusiastic, but I think
that's the way I feed. I feed off of people who are sleeping very little at a time, different houses
because
all the time.
I'm not very hungry, but I feel like that's going to change, and then I think I'm going to need to. And I don't want to be in a rush because I've not done it before, and I like to. I like to take my yes, okay. Exactly.
How about I take you with me hunting?
Oh,
so you can see how it's done.
Yes, that sounds slightly disturbing, but also extremely useful. Yes, that would be wonderful, Moses. Thank you.
We don't have time for tonight, or do we? After the whole cleaning.
What you mean?
Going out for a simple Sandman-like hunt.
Probably not. Well, you can try. It depends on how quickly you can do it and get back.
Do you want to rush it?
No.
No,
I don't want to rush it. I want to take my time, and I don't want to take any risks. And I don't want anyone to wake up and look at me. No, I don't want them to know. I just want it all to be.
I'm just gonna give it a try.
Give what a try?
Feeding, because
you're going. But isn't it? I don't know. I get that feeling. You know,
It's late enough that I'm not going back to my condo. I'm most likely gonna be sleeping here at the Haven, and I'm really not keen.
I just feel like so much has happened tonight that has been awful. I don't know if I could take anything else awful happening tonight.
It's not. Well, feeding is not awful.
No. I mean, I know that I have mixed feelings about it. But yes, all right. But I don't think I'm not that hungry now.
Okay, let's do it tomorrow.
Tomorrow we just take our time, and that will be good.
Jim,
yep.
Are you going to fail, or are you going to succeed at a cost? I believe normally it wouldn't give you a compulsion if you succeeded at a cost. I'd have to double check, but for now, I'm going to say it does. Just because the expression on your face was too good to take it back.
Yeah, sounds fitting.
Do we know what the cost would be if we just succeed the cost?
It's going to be a case of... It's not going to be subtle.
Jim ain't exactly subtle.
Basically, the individual that you've come across, there is one that you could feed from. It's basically close to where the Morrisons is. There is an individual which is sleeping outside. Initially, at a first glance, you assume it's probably one of the homeless that's just congregated in one of the alcoves. However, the smell of alcohol from him is exceedingly strong, and this individual is also dressed as if he's been out drinking or been out on a social occasion. He is very much out of it, but it's not exactly the quietest area, but this is the only viable person you've had to feed from.
Tim needs to go for it.
Okay, how much are you taking?
Gonna try and carefully take 2.
2?
2 carefully.
Carefully.
Which
takes longer.
Carefully. Yeah, it takes longer. Jim kind of needs it.
Okay. As you move over towards this individual, he stirs slightly, but his eyes don't open. They flutter, and the smell of alcohol is strong. It's not as rancid to you as the smell you've just left, but it's there, and it's ever present as you kind of glance around, a quick back and forth just to make sure no one's there. The few people which are on this stretch of street turn the corner and go around, too busy in their discussion to really pay you any mind. And you lean in as quickly and quietly as you're able to without endangering this individual. You lean in, yes, and all of a sudden, the moment that the fangs puncture the flesh, you feel that euphoric rush, that warmth go through your body, and it causes you to grip tighter and pull him tighter into you. And without waking, he lets out a kind of moan of a moment of subconscious passion and euphoria from the sensation that goes from it, although he's too far out of it to really understand what's going on. And his limbs, whilst he tries to absently just reach for whoever's got him, just begins going a bit limp. 2, hunger, you're sating?
Try to carefully.
Okay. You continue to drink, and you can hear the and you use it as a gauge of when to let go, because otherwise the only other noise in your mind is the incessant whisper. There's no other way to describe it that's telling you a little more, just a little more, it'll be fine, just a little more, and you ignore it and just stop. Bring your teeth away and out of the flesh and just lick it in one smooth motion, causing the puncture marks to just seal over. And he's very pale now, he's very cold, but he's alive, and you can tell that from the movement behind the eyelids. Whatever dream he's having is certainly taking an odd turn. You now have sanguine resonance. It's not intense, it's just base sanguine. You still have your compulsion. You also are under the effects of alcohol. Not you specifically, but the blood you've just had is very heavy in alcohol.
Yeah, it's more like the resonance gives you that drunken thing. Yeah, it's like people who feed from junkies. Their blood intoxicates you, but not biologically. It's the resonance, it gives you that effect. So
It's basically still drunk.
There is where is it?
it's like no biological effect. It's just that that's the sanguine resonance is that of you getting drunk.
I'm hoping that people in the chat are currently like betting what kind of drunk Jim will be.
Yep.
Oh god.
No,
Well,
I think happy-go-lucky
the
drunk.
mere guy. He's the
Maybe
mere
he
guy.
sings a
he
bit.
becomes
yeah.
immeasurably friendly and happy.
yeah.
Yeah.
No claws at all.
I think
drunk.
he's gonna be the mere guy.
The mere guy.
Yeah, the one that go like, hey,
Mere.
mere. That's the guy. That's the guy.
Sorry, just trying to find the effects of this.
Yeah.
Actually, just to save time, can you have a look on yours for the... It is in there, it's on the sidebar. The effects of certain substances in blood. After you've done this and you fed, you leave him there where you found him. Turn him over onto his side so it's quite clear that people can't see how pale he is in the lights overhead. And looking again around you, making sure there's no blood on your chin, you turn and stalk back towards the haven. At this point, it's getting late into the morning. And you all feel that familiar unease begin to build in you. Slightly earlier now than it was before, but you all feel it. And it's not immediately pressing, it's not demanding, but it's there, ever present. Is there anything else you want to try and cram in the last 2.5 hours before?
There's a very minor thing I'd like to do.
Okay.
So when I go back to my room and barricade everything up, I am going to look around the room as if, maybe there's a ghost here. And I'll say, I'm rather hoping last night when you moved things, you were maybe making an effort to communicate, and I understand that might be difficult. So I'm going to try and make it a little easier, if you want to, that is. And I'm going to leave out a bit of a couple of bits of paper, and I'll put something like, "Do you want to communicate?" ? And then I will leave like a paint brush with some paint next to it. And the other thing I will do is get some kind of, I don't know, if I've got anything, I'll improvise something if I haven't, but something like a small ball, like a marble or something like that. And just dip one bit of it in some paint so the paint is facing up, and leave it also next to a bit of paper. Because I figure, maybe ghosts can't pick up paintbrushes, so maybe they can roll marbles instead, who knows. And then I'll make sure everything's completely, like, chair under the door, check my boards are still up there, no one's come and ripped them off in the night or anything. Make everything as secure as I can, and then I'll go turn in.
I hang the rosary again on the wall, and I start once again. And after I finish, I go to bed.
Jim.
Maybe play a little
Yep.
GameCube.
Okay.
Cutting edge.
Really struggling to remember if it was 2001 or 2002, 3, something like that.
They'll let us know, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that the GameCubes were a really good thing with the Spider-Man game in
Oh, yeah, they
2002. But I want to know if 2001 cutting edge GameCube, because that's what Moses has.
Well, GameCube.
Yeah, of course.
GameCubes are amazing. Okay, so
Playing Spider-Man, if it's out.
what is Jim doing now? I'm assuming heading back to the Haven, or is he going somewhere else?
He's heading back to the Haven, knowing he's pretty again drunk.
Well,
Well,
I don't think it means you're drunk. I think it means that you're impacted in some way.
here we go.
Well, found it? What page?
Oh crap! Alcohol, lower dexterity and intelligence dice balls by 1 die. Oh shit!
Make a note. I believe that. How long is that in your system for?
Until you feed again, or you reach to hunger 5, which means that your blood meter goes to 0.
Okay. I'll have to keep that in mind.
Oh.
Fun with blood, guys. Fun with
In
blood.
most cases, these effects last for a scene or two, depending on the nature of it and the amount.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, it's going to be slightly more than a scene. Yeah. That guy was fucked. What page number?
Bullshit.
That'll be 310.
310. Okay, I'll get way past it. Apologies, guys. It's useful to know.
So you probably woke up drunk or hungover.
Yeah.
A hungover Jim.
Maybe.
He just needs to find someone who's eaten lots of kebabs and they're in their blood.
Yeah, something like that.
Feed on them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of wonder what happens if you get embraced in the middle of a hangover.
Oh fuck.
Okay.
That's why you have to stay drunk until sunrise.
Okay.
Avoid being embraced while in that state.
Okay. So
Giving a friendly advice.
you return to the Haven.
Yep.
Open up the lock. Come back in. Smells there faintly. Smells more strongly now of bleach than anything else. But then, to your nostrils, that's even more offensive. I mean, you've been around Death and Decay for a while now under Alicia, but this is unnaturally clean and it's horrendous. Anyway, so what are you doing now? Anything else before you turn in?
Locking up and just turning in.
Okay. You all go back to your respective rooms, lie down, make sure the doors are locked, make sure all the windows are locked and covered, and then slowly, steadily, your limbs, your body, your mind becomes lethargic, and you struggle over to your beds if you're not already there, or wherever you choose to take your rest. And then the moment you lie down, your eyes just begin to turn black. They don't close. I mean, you don't blink anymore. But you just stop seeing. You stop becoming animate. And then there's nothing.
I'm cuddling with Foggy.
Foggy's just kind of gripped in, unmoving. Doesn't seem to mind it so much, but then as soon as you kind of stop moving for a few moments, kind of glances over at you, struggles out, climbs on top of you, and then just squats and stares. It's a weird ass fox. Yeah. So, now, for all of you, I need a rouse check, please.
Don't fail this time, you son of a...
Yes!
Oh no, that's bad statistically.
Correct.
What hunger you on?
3.
Moses is on 3.
Now, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm still on 2.
Math
1, 2, 3, yay!
Maths are not great when you know them and you know they're against you.
Yeah.
You're like, no!
Never fight
like
maths.
someone has to fail this check, he says, statistically.
Yeah.
Most
See,
likely.
I did roll better for you. Okay. So, you all begin waking, and first, who's got the highest humanity?
It's not me.
7?
7?
7.
Moses, you are one of the first to arouse.
Right.
Foggy has
It's probably gone.
marked up your room first. There's a certain smell.
Yeah.
Foggy's not there at the moment, and as you kind of wake and adjust to the
Poor guy,
room,
he's not here. That means he's somewhere inside the place. He's hungry. Oh, we don't come in. Oh my god, I just realized that. I feel so bad. I'm such a bad
Oh, man.
you should pet owner.
Yeah.
I
Shock him.
get some that's my first thing.
okay.
Sorry I interrupted you.
That's all right.
Moses came to that realization, and I rushed to get him some food.
Okay.
And I call him Foggy. Foggy.
You wake up. The paper is not moved. The paintbrush is not moved. The marble is still where you left it. Although your floor now has a little paint kind of circle underneath the marble from where it's rolled, but otherwise it's undisturbed. The shards of glass that you had there before, undisturbed. All your paint supplies, undisturbed. Even the door is as you left it.
Oh, good. Right, good. Well, I guess I'll start getting up and getting, ready for the day and things. Night. Ready for the night. You won't have got used to that yet.
Yeah, use the first part of the night just to take care of Foggy. And my room, I don't want it to be smelled like it's a basement, so I air it.
Okay. Jim? Your window is open. Your window is smashed. Roll intelligence. Still with a -1.
Still the
Plus investigation for me.
Hey, I still get 2 dice.
Difficulty 1.
That's one success.
1 success.
Yeah.
The glass shards are all inside the room. And even your kind of slightly muddled mind, even though you don't outwardly act like you're drunk, your mind is still slow, based upon the influence of the alcohol. And as you kind of stare at it, it takes you a moment to realise the window was broken from the outside.
Did you come
a
in
look
through
at
your
him.
own window drunk?
You're not there.
That could happen.
He's going to sort of start looking around, see if, slowly, stumbling a bit, see if there's any trace of where someone might have gone or if anyone's left evidence.
Okay. There is a note that is, now that you glance back, right beside where your head was resting. Scrawled, basic note. And as you open it, it reads, it says, "Were it up to me, you would have burned."
That's it.
Nothing
No.
else. What are you doing, Jim?
Jim's gonna pick it up and slowly head downstairs.
Probably having a little moment with Foggy. Like I'm actually probably pampering him in the living room while I'm checking my emails. I just want to see if Alan Burr's desk replied.
Okay.
So I'm just there. I mean, if I could have a cup of coffee, I would, but I can't, so I won't.
Yeah, I will be looking to meet up with the coterie to go check in with them when that is convenient.
Okay. There is a message left for you.
Mhm.
It's not from Alan Burr. but it is from your newly met acquaintance, Sexy Pearl 68.
Ooh. Sexy Pearl 68.
It says, want to meet where? Question mark, question mark, question mark.
IRL? Question mark, question mark, question mark.
Yes. Dot, dot, dot. Where? Question mark, question mark, question mark. Smiley face.
Okay, Sexy Pearl 68. She has information. Okay. What's a good place for people like that to meet?
What?
Basically, if there is like any
It says
disc, like any club or anything like that.
She says, another message. Another smiley face. And then the one after that, it says, come to Warren's, question mark.
Me going to the Warrens? Okay, cool. It'll take me what, half an hour?
To get to the Warrens, it's going to take longer than that.
Longer than that?
Yeah.
And I need to hunt, and I don't know how long it's going to take.
Because to get to the Warrens, you have to go through very old tube tunnels and the rest.
Yeah.
The Warrens, even for a Nosferatu, are hard to find.
Yeah.
It's rumoured. It's one of Plucky Jake's claims that even it's the one place in London that the prince has never set foot because he can't find it. Although that comes from Plucky Jake, so the validity of that?
Yeah, it's debatable.
It's debatable.
How about after midnight?
Is that what you're asking?
I ask you, Sexy Girl 68.
Sexy girl.
Sexy
Okay.
Pearl 68.
Okay. There's a long pause in this very old MSN style chat box.
Probably MS, like DOS screen.
Yeah. It's like
BBS.
okay. Says, cool, smiley face. Do not bring coterie.
Cool.
Exclamation mark, exclamation mark,
Yeah,
exclamation mark.
Cool. We'll bring red scarf. And winky
Then
face.
there's a little emoji of
Brilliant. I immediately go fetch Ben. It's like, I'm going hunting and then I'm going to meet some people. So
Right, you want to go...
now,
Yes, well, I agree. We should definitely go very swiftly. I just wanted to check
while
everyone was
talking
all...
to a message to Katya, how have you been? Where are you?
Listen, I wanted to make sure everyone was all right, and I wanted to tell you something that I forgot about in all the excitement last night. When I was outside, there were two people who were watching the crossed hands, and then all of a sudden they seemed to have some kind of disagreement. I think one of them wanted to come over and do something, but then they said something about I couldn't hear them very well, but I could see their lips moving, and something about no, he wants us to go. They wanted to come in and get Tyler, I think.
This was while Tyler was here.
Yeah, oh yes, it was while Tyler was here, and they looked serious business. One of them in particular was huge, and I was very glad they didn't come and approach. I don't know what I'd have done, but anyway,
I still fucked him up.
Yes, I suppose you would. Yes. So anyway, they left, but I have the feeling that the lady who was of the two of them, she did not want to go, and I wouldn't be surprised if there's some bad feelings there, and they definitely saw me.
I
They
produced
definitely-
a note. Then maybe leaving this.
I have no idea what handwriting's like. Where did you get this?
What did it say?
were it up to me, you would have burned.
No sign, no nothing.
Handwritten?
Yeah, very quickly, very hastily.
I mean, yes, they do seem like the sort that would throw things through at us and pass notes and things.
My window was smashed this morning.
Oh, I'm
Wait,
sorry.
they came through your window?
Yes, they came through my window.
Come on,
Like this
you guys
beside
need to
my
start
head.
saying these things faster. Go
Oh,
downstairs,
we need to start saying
check the
things
footage of the
faster.
CCTV to see
Yeah.
if it was like the angle that overlooked
Follow
or
Moses.
whomever might throw that.
Follow Moses.
I should be having dinner right now.
The It's when you go down and you begin looking into the footage, you realise that all of the CCTV around the outside of the haven is disconnected.
Great.
This also affects your trait for the domain.
Yeah.
It doesn't affect any dice rolls you make, but it means anyone intruding on your domain
Will
no
not
longer
have the
suffers the
penalty.
penalty.
Sorry, haven or domain?
Domain.
Domain. That's
Okay.
the one we have in the domain.
Yeah.
But
But these are the most noticeable ones that he looks
Yeah.
at most.
yeah. It's our whatchamacallit.
What have you found, Moses? Is it those? They're very distinctive, and I'll certainly recognise them if you can show me an image of them.
Yeah, that's the thing. They disconnected our feed.
They can do that.
We're blind. I don't know if it happened at the source. I haven't been checking that. Probably the people
no.
from the CCTV service saw like, what's this, and they should shut it off. It could have been a fuse that burned, but it's all the cameras. It's quite. Look, I am hungry, and I have a very important clan meeting later on tonight.
Is it still all right for me to?
Come with me to hunt, but then I have a clan meeting.
Hang
so
on,
no one's allowed.
hang on. Where's Katya?
I already texted her. I asked.
No,
her.
was she here last night? Did she?
No,
I mean,
she-
she left and she was acting again strangely.
Katia hasn't come back, and there is no response to your text.
Yeah, but I just sent it, so I don't expect a reply until
Do you
way
think-
into the night.
You don't think she? I mean, she's all right. Do you think? I mean, you don't think? I mean, I'm just thinking. I know she was in a very strange mood, but we have been attacked quite often recently, and bad things.
Quite often, how many times have we?
Well, I
been
mean,
attacked?
as in, you know, Darren attacked us,
That's one.
and you. Well, your room was assaulted, wasn't it? There was something thrown through, and
Well, there was no object there. I'm guessing someone smashed it, then came inside.
oh no, that's
Just
even
right
worse.
inside my head.
That's even worse. They
Exactly.
came in,
Exactly. They came in.
so they
started
could have,
me.
they could have killed you.
Well, yes.
But they didn't. So
Which makes me curious. Right. Jim's gonna
also,
go towards
that's a lot of
towards the
work to
lobby.
go 4 floors up just to mess with you. Wow.
So are we going to?
Who really dislikes you? enough?
Jim's on the way to the lobby at the moment.
Oh.
I think everyone's very you know, they
Everyone's
don't
hungry.
they don't wait for conversations to end, do they?
Well, they and I just start walking. And I turn around and think, I'm joking.
Oh.
Come here. Yes, but I'm kind of hungry right now.
Oh, no, of course. Sorry, I understand, and I'm very grateful you're going to.
Okay, let's get ready. Where's your ninja suit?
I don't have a ninja suit, but I do have a hood and
black
some.
kimono. And
Now you're definitely joking.
yes, yes, I am. But yeah, you have to be dressed in black and have like shades and all that.
I'm not going to wear sunglasses. That will draw attention to me. But I'll wear some more discreet clothing, of course.
So that's the whole point. Trainers, sneakers, however you want to call them.
Oh yes, I'm not going to wear noise.
Quiet shoes.
Don't worry, I'll be very quiet.
Cool.
Very quiet indeed.
I just take him for a hunt.
Okay. Where and how?
Hunting with Benjamin.
Gonna go to the. You know what? I'm gonna go close to Camberwell Grove without getting out of our domain. Still within our domain, but that's more of a like a very heavily residential area, which is removed from the mall and everything.
Okay. How many dots do you have in Cassie?
2.
Okay.
So
We'll count this as teamwork.
Mm-hmm.
Who's the prince? Are you letting him do it, or are you showing him how to do it?
I am
the-
showing him because I am at hunger 3. I'm feeding.
Alright. So you have stealth, so you will get 1 additional dot.
Okay,
It'll
cool.
be dexterity plus stealth.
Okay.
You are in a residential area. It doesn't take much for you to find sleeping people.
30 plus stealth. That's my emphasis, like my specialty on
What is
break-ins.
Are you going to be breaking in?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Then yeah.
I'm feeding out. I'm sandmanning this, and he gives me 1, right?
Yeah.
Okay. These are my hunger dice.
Difficulty 4.
So 3, 5,
No,
7.
difficulty 5.
Oh, ow.
Begins at 6 with 1 dot.
Yeah,
You
then
have
it goes
2
to
dots.
5. Yeah,
Okay.
It goes to 5.
this is why.
It's because it's such a small area of control.
Yeah.
Repeated incidents like
Yeah.
this. So it's not so. I mean, failures do not always dictate the fact that you there's just no one to feed from. 9 times out of 10, it will mean that there is someone you can feed from, but it's just going to
Yes.
be a risk for you to
Yeah.
go for it.
Yeah.
There might, on occasion, just be that there's no one there. But
Or the
most
person
of the
you
time,
fed from like 3 days ago, and you're gonna end up
Yeah.
making him anemic.
you can.
or something.
I mean, it's safe to assume that when you're doing a hunger roll, you could find someone. Whether it is safe to do it is the big question. Whether there's a complication attacked is
Yeah.
the big thing.
Okay. So that's 2 successes.
Do you want to succeed at a cost?
No, I have a plan meeting.
So, as he begins going between these, the residential areas, you begin following him. And it's like a kind of quirky buddy cop movie, if it was absolutely, terrifying, the premise of it. And as you manage to get to one of these buildings, there is a way in. But as you begin approaching the door, you can hear movement on the other side of it. And you stop him, and you can see an outline of what you're assuming to be quite a large Alsatian or similar breed on the other side of the door, and you can hear that.
I'm not going for it. Do you have an idea how this works? Because I'm conscious of the time.
I think so, and obviously, I think there's a lesson in there that it's good to back away from it.
Yeah.
It's good to be cautious, safe, better safe than sorry.
That's how I feel.
Yes,
So
right.
I'm not gonna proceed. I go to my clan meeting, and afterwards I'll hunt.
All right.
Are you safe to go
I mean,
back to the haven on your own
yes,
right now?
I think so. Yes.
Okay. And then we have to walk sort of together up to a point in which I just start walking down to Denmark Hill to get into the sewer system eventually.
While we're going, I don't know if
I'm
this
sorry,
is
it's not Denmark,
something I
it's
can.
the other one.
Because obviously I assisted him, so I might not be able to get away with this. But
Elfland Castle.
what I would quite like to do when I was helping him, and we were originally is use this partly as a kind of almost like a manoeuvre where I'm starting to like peg houses that might be good to try another night. Just.
Just get to know it.
I mean, if need be, I'll spend longer to do that. I don't mind.
I'd say what it would probably do on this one occasion, because obviously just repeating the same patterns is just as dangerous as not finding anything, is it probably lower the difficulty. Because whilst you have the set difficulty for the area, depending on your methods of approach, how you detail going about it, depending on what's going on, the circumstance you're in might fluctuate the difficulty, might make it harder, might make it easier.
Yeah.
But you're never going to be able to find a single method that lowers difficulty wholesale, because that's...
No. What I mean is...
Yes, if you're going around and looking at different things and trying to find one for a future hunt, that might lower the difficulty by a point.
Yeah.
And then you can try it at a difficulty 4.
Yeah.
So yeah, you can do that. So you as he begins moving off, a little flustered that he's trying to make this meeting, whatever it is, you begin observing the houses, and with an efficiency that surprises even you begin noting entrances and exits, you begin noting lighting, you begin noticing the little bits and pieces that most people would probably just ignore in a subtle approach to a house, which to someone like you is just idiotic. There's little bits and pieces, little routes that you're noting, and you note based upon the type of car that's in the drive, how many people are likely to be there, the buildings that look run down, or the ones that people have taken pride in and therefore probably taken note in. And you note these little things as Moses begins moving away.
Cool.
And then, where are you going?
We were taking space to the Haven, aren't you?
Sorry?
Are you taking space to the Haven first?
Well, I was gonna walk towards the haven because that's the way for us back. But then I am gonna take the underground.
Okay, so
When I mean the underground is the tunnels, not the subway, the tube. It's okay.
So you're splitting up with me when we're quite close to the Haven.
Yeah, when we're like close to the cross hands.
Okay.
So he said, if you want to keep on hunting, it's okay. But
No. I think I'll wait. I don't need it. I don't want to do anything wrong yet. But thank you for everything.
Okay.
And good luck with. And watch out for those people. I'll give them a brief description of the two.
Of the
those
big
two,
guy
yeah.
and the girl with the braided hair.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I just use actually. Yeah, if he's gonna stay around, I just use the same portfolio that we have from the postern. It's already a link.
Okay.
So I use the postern to get to the sewer system, well, to the tunnels, and through the tunnels to the sewer system.
Okay. You're remaining at the Haven for the time being?
Yeah, I'm going to go back to the Haven. Yeah.
Okay.
Jim's, after that conversation with them, has come down to the lobby, and for the book, the signing book, is trying to compare the handwriting from the note to any handwriting that's in the book.
Okay. All right. That'll take you a little while. It's an old book. There's not many recent editions, but it's quite an old book. You get the feeling Mrs. Moravsky's had this same book since the place opened, or since she's been there.
Yeah.
And you can tell her tidy, slanted scrawl from any other scrawls that's been put in there. Not many. By and large, it's Mrs. Moravsky's handwriting, and you just slowly work. And it takes you a few double times to go back over certain names just because of how slanted it is. But you're not really looking for the names so much as you are for the handwriting, and for the people that have signed in and out. It's slow going, but you sit down, begin focusing on it. What are you doing at the Haven?
Well, I'm going to approach. If Jim's in the reception,
Yeah.
I'm going to approach Jim. I should say I'm always locking the door behind me when I come in.
Seems like a little thing, but it's worth knowing.
Yeah, I'm going to approach Jim and say, "Hello. Is everything all right here?"
Everything is alright here. Of course everything's alright here.
Still
Going to the book.
I didn't want to presume, but I wondered if you would be, if you didn't mind, if I could go and have a look in your room, just in case there's any sign of the person that broke in, that we might be able to identify who they are. I just didn't want to obviously go in without permission, because that would be extremely rude, and I don't want to encourage that sort of behaviour in the coterie if I can avoid it.
The storyteller's given me what's probably the most compulsion for me to try and figure out how to freaking roleplay here.
I'm nice like that.
Yes, he is. Any other one, much easier. This one, no.
I'm going to quote you that when I give you your name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think there'll be like some kind of cut together thing of all the times
all
that
the
Phil
times
says,
different-
"Oh, this is the hardest one."
Yeah, right. This is.
I'm going to watch it every morning.
Yeah.
Yeah. Never mind. Yeah, Jim, just ignore him and focused on the book.
So yes, if you, I'm just asking if you mind if I go in and just see if there's any sign, because if we can identify who it is, at least we know who. Well, it might help us find them.
Yeah, fine. If you can find him, I'm gonna teach him a fucking lesson.
Yes, of course. Well, I'll let you know if I find anything, and obviously I will. I'll put everything back how I found it.
Yeah, you better.
And I'll go up to Jim's room.
Okay. You go up towards Jim's room, quite eagerly, happy to be out of the presence of another
Yes.
angry kindred.
I mean, what is with these people?
Yeah, right. You manage to get all the way up to Jim's room. The door's still open, and you can see a pretty Spartan affair by comparison to, I mean, even your room with the boxes. I mean, Jim travels a lot. You know this much from him already, but you didn't realise this light. I mean, aside from the bed, which you're pretty certain was here to begin with, and the other bits and pieces, which again you're pretty certain Mrs. Moravsky had during her younger times. The only other thing that you really note is the window, and you can feel the breeze even on your skin. And by comparison, it's cool. It's a cool night out there. But as you kind of go up to the window and peer at it closely, you immediately notice the fact that there was a heavy impact towards the centre of the glass. You can tell that based upon the shards that are still embedded in the window frame. The fact that all the shards are currently on your side, meaning it was impacted from outside. There are no other signs of disturbance that you can note in the room. Nothing else has been touched. So based upon what he described to you, the image you're having in your head is someone impacted the window
Yeah.
whilst he was out,
Yes.
or by out I mean
Yeah.
in torpor, entered, put the message down, and left.
So I'm going to have a look to see if any of the glass looks like it was crunched by boots. Like if someone smashed the window in and then had to walk across the glass. If there's any kind of footprints, or even just areas where the glass has been crushed down.
Okay, we'll say wits plus investigation. Quite a low difficulty.
So hang on, make sure I got my hunger dice in.
It won't be forensics, though.
Wits, okay. Plus investigation. 3.
Yep. There are all of the glass, aside from the initial impact, have not been further damaged.
Mm-hmm.
So whoever it is has managed to clear that space and clear it again on the way out, without impacting it.
Like, as in they could have literally just like jumped across, maybe, or.
However they got in, they did not impact it. It seems like ensuring the passage of them getting out, or getting in and getting out, was a consideration, despite the circumstances of their entry.
Okay. I suppose. I mean, I don't know if I've already done this, but I guess I'll just be looking for stray hairs or things like that, or anything around the window frame. But if I think I'm probably done otherwise.
Yeah. There's nothing there.
Yeah.
Despite the contents of the letter or the note, and the impact made on this window. I mean, these are old, quite sturdy windows, quite thick by comparison. They're one of the kind of old style windows which are naturally thicker, and yet it seems a single impact took it out. So whoever it is quite strong anyway. But beyond that point, whoever did this did it very carefully. And there's nothing here. There's nothing to. You even look out on to the fire escape on the outside, and there's nothing. There's no evidence there.
Okay.
There's just the same old, rusted, in need of repair fire escape that was there before.
Okay. I will leave Jim's room as I found it.
Okay. Are you sure?
Well, I'm not going to have a quick rifle through his stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm assuming nothing is left out in a kind of, exciting manner.
Jump on the bed?
No, I'm not jumping on the bed.
Okay.
I mean, let's not go too far.
Okay.
No, I don't think so. I'll leave.
Okay, so you step back out the room. As you're passing by underneath, you can't help but listen. There is no sound coming from Katya's room either, so she's obviously not here. Either she's woken up ahead of you guys and gone out, or she just didn't come back.
Okay. So I'll go down to Jim, I guess, and report in.
Okay.
Still going through the book.
There are no signatures in there that you note so far. You've only gotten about 12 pages into this book. It's her. At one point, she was seeing a lot of business. At one point, there was a lot.
How long was that ago?
Probably looking at about 20, 30 years.
So, mid-70s to mid-80s. Disco time.
Keeping going. Focused.
Okay, what are you guys doing? Anything else?
Am I okay to talk to Jim? Won't take very long.
Yeah, sure.
I had a look. I can't tell you very much, I'm afraid, but what I can tell you is not only was whoever did this able to climb up several floors to get to your room expertly, but also the window was broken with impressive force, and there's no sign of them. I mean, they were... that note you showed us, that looked like an angry note to me. The sort of thing you would dash off and yes, obviously they broke the glass in an angry manner, but they were very careful to cover their tracks. I mean, that they made a massive mess and didn't leave any sign of their passing in that mess. So what I'm saying is that they're probably quite dangerous. I mean, skilled.
You think I'm not?
Please, Jim. I mean, I have never for a moment doubted that you are extremely dangerous. You've been very clear on that fact. I'm just saying, this person is a sort of mix of angry and also quite measured and professional, and that's a worrying mix. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying you are. I'm sure you will do horrible things to them, and it will be. I mean, it will make me feel sick to watch what happens. It'll be awful. You'll rip them into. I dread to think.
Slowly, yeah.
I'll be slowly backing off.
Yeah, aren't you alright with that?
Well, obviously you have to defend your home. I'm just saying I'm still new to this whole violence thing. That's all. That's all I'm saying. I'm sorry I couldn't be more help. I'll be in my room if you need me. Run away.
Back to your room. And for the third time in perhaps as many nights, you locked the fucking door.
Yeah, you better believe it. And I put that chair under.
Yeah. That chair already has a groove.
Yeah.
And it fits like snugly. And you grab the chair, it snugs like.
You begin whatever you were doing to pass your time. I'm assuming you're going to begin resuming work on.
Yeah, I'm going to do a couple of quick sketches of the freaky Will Price show. So sorry, not Price. Wrong Will. Sorry.
Okay, so you're
Sparring.
Okay.
The Will Sparring show. Just so I don't forget, because I think that's going to probably follow up later. That's my backup piece if this one doesn't work.
If that wasn't foreshadowing, I don't know what it was.
Yeah.
Sorry.
And then I'll continue some prep work on the
Okay.
not Katia piece.
Jim's going to continue working through the book.
Slowly.
Yeah.
I'm going to continue my
Obsessively.
way down the warrants without Foggy.
Yeah. Foggy.
I leave him to his devices after being a bad owner and leaving him locked inside the crossed hands the whole day.
Yeah. I mean, Foggy's not around you at this point, and it's hard to gauge the current emotional state of a fox, but you're guessing you're getting the silent treatment. He hasn't come to be there when you wake up like he normally does, but he's either out hunting for himself or having a fox mood swing.
It's okay.
But you go off on your
It'll
own
pass.
through the tunnels, and even as accustomed as you are to life on the surface, there's an instinctive kind of directional sense and familiarity as you begin moving through these tunnels. And it's certainly familiar from your time primarily in the United States, but also from your brief time down there with Plucky Jake. And this, even though you've been back here once or twice so far, it's difficult to find. It seems, I mean, if you were more willing to, believe that Plucky Jake had this power, there's part of you that's almost willing to consider that these tunnels move, because often you go back and forth between entrances and different tube entrances that you believe will lead to the right place, and they don't. But you're certain they do. And then you double back on yourself and you start again. And this takes you longer than you thought you would. But eventually you manage to find these hidden passages within London's underground, away from... There's once or twice where you have to stop what you're doing because you can hear late night commuters, you can see trains going up and down the different rail lines, and once or twice, perched as you are next to the train tracks, you can see the lights of these tube stops and the people moving back and forth on them. The drunken slurs, people talking, celebrating, people being angry, talking on the phone. You hear it all, but you're focusing on your route. And before long, you manage to get down into these tunnels, and you're going deeper and deeper and deeper, and it's dark down here, even to your eyes. And it takes a bit of just using the light from your Nokia and trying to go through these tunnels, and after a while you can feel the wetness underfoot, and you recognize this from the pipes that run down here as a subtle sign, but a memorable one that you are getting there. And after about another hour of wandering these tunnels, finally you come to what looks to be like an old train terminal. A very, very old terminal. We're not talking tube, we're talking what could probably have been a predecessor to the tube. But it's odd because, as far as you're aware, these tunnels aren't on any of the maps. There shouldn't have been these train routes, but there are. And you can see the archaic remains of a hollowed out vehicle of some sort. It's not necessarily a train itself, but it looks to be more of a cargo container, which is turned on its side.
Like an old war.
Yeah. And, I mean, at a casual glance, it looks like one of the kind of train containers which would carry coal. But it's on its side and it's in use, and you can see light emanating from there, and it's a barrel that's basically been hollowed out and filled with wood and set ablaze or whatever other combustibles are in there. And this area is the area you've agreed to meet. Further on, and even more tunnel delving, are the warrens proper. But even as invited and acknowledged as you are,
Not going in there.
yeah, I mean,
I'm not stupid.
Plucky Jake is communal until he doesn't want to be. And so always going back to the warrens, unless you have some intimate tie to Plucky Jake, is risky to do. If you're there, it's normally because you're doing something for him. So you don't venture any further than this, but you can see a shadow cast on the wall, because the container's turned away from you so that you can see the light flickering from within, and you can see what looks to be some sort of bundle, a large bundle kind of casting a shadow up on the side of the train, side of the tunnel wall. And this, you're assuming, is where you're going to be meeting Sexy Pearl.
I put on my red scarf.
Okay.
And I just wait.
Okay.
I play Snake.
Okay, you play this for a while, and then it takes you a long moment to realise that whilst you're not hearing any sounds coming from down the tunnels, and I mean people would have to be quite silent of tread to stop the echoes that go up and down this tunnel. I mean, it's haunting even for you, especially since you've just come from someone with a ghost. There's a few occasions where you stop and glance around expecting to hear or see something. And it's
no more ghosts.
yeah. And only after you kind of look up from your phone, having died again on Snake, you look up towards.
But I was already like.
You look up towards the shadows cast upon the wall, and you realise that the bundle's not there anymore. This whatever was cast in the silhouette. Oh, the light's still there, but the silhouette of this bundle, what you were assuming to be closed, isn't there anymore. There is no shadow cast on the wall. And as you stop and look, you hear a from behind you.
Turn around.
What is in front of you is a curious mixture of malformed torso, necklace face, kind of no nose, a maw which is fangs not only jutting from it but from within the lips itself, eyes, one that is larger than the other, one smaller, no hair on the head, but the way that they kind of head merges into the torso, it's like what would happen if you gave modern horror writers access to something like The Hunchback of Notre Dame. It's a hideous amalgamation of kind of rags that have a curious smell to it. It's not quite dirty, but it's not clean. It's one of those smells that you can't place whether or not you should be disgusted or not. And this individual that's just kind of looking at you as this phlegmy bile just begins seeping out from the jaw, she just stares, and you can tell it's this individual that you've come to meet.
Yeah, I feel like. Sexy Pearl?
Yeah.
Hi. Moses.
Carrion.
Carrion. Okay, Carrie.
Carrion.
You don't like Carrie?
No.
I don't mind Mo. But. What do you have?
Well, I can give you...
And she stops and then hacks this phlegmy bile up and out of her throat, and as it lands, you can almost swear you hear like a hiss, almost like it's caustic, but then as you look at it, it just looks to be bloody phlegm. And after she's finished coughing up,
You okay?
Yeah. I know who your neighbor is.
Really?
Yeah.
How did you find out?
Well, I can be quite persuasive.
I can see.
But I want to know what I can get in response, because this is well, not only can I can tell you who it is, I can introduce you.
Well, let's go. As Jack the Ripper said, let's go in little pieces. Okay? So,
I get it.
that's for out of humor. So,
I like good humor in a guy.
how about you tell me what you want just for the information, and then if I want to meet him, you tell me what you want. I mean, you get to ask twice, but don't make it like, don't overdo it. I see that look.
I'll tell you what. I'll tell you the name of the one, but I'm not gonna tell you how you can meet him until you can offer me something juicy.
Cool.
Sound fair?
Yeah, that sounds fair.
Because I like dealing with new Nosferatu. There's
Start spitting again.
There's something appealing about having more sewer rats. There's not enough of us anymore. So, I'll tell you the name. And I'll also tell you.
Sorry.
Are you ready?
Yeah. Born ready, Carrion.
The hospital that you want access to is claimed by an individual only known as the Smiling Man.
Okay.
And he ain't kindred. Now you see why it's a bit of a valuable thing that I can tell you how to meet this individual without causing
Oh yeah.
undue conflict.
My God, Jack Carrion. You know what? Thanks. I'll look for something to offer.
Well,
Right now I have like what's going around the rumor mill. Tyler Adams is dead, but I think you already knew that.
No, I didn't.
Oh, he was killed by the constable last night.
She works fast.
Well, no, it was in
It doesn't surprise me.
it was in our domain, so we let her know.
You called the constable to your domain?
No, Tyler Adams in my domain.
Where did she kill him?
Well, one of my coterie called her.
So you did call him to your domain?
Oh yeah, he was caught. He was caught. He was caught in my domain.
No.
But he's
It
dead.
sucks to be you.
Sorry?
Sucks to be you.
Yeah, but it happened, and he's dead. So, just out of courtesy, you can have that one and spread it. I'm not gonna tell it to anybody else.
To be honest, I don't really consider that payment.
No, it's just a thank you for telling me that he exists and that you have the info. So I'll get juicy stuff for you.
If you expect this to work 2 ways anymore, don't cheap out.
I will not. That's why I'm just giving you this as a freebie. Thank you for letting me meet you here. I'm gonna come with something juicy.
You
I
better.
swear to God. Not today, not tomorrow, with something. The moment I find something juicy, I'll want that information. And I'll bring it to you.
That can be kind of. I mean, I can find the information largely on my own. I want something different.
Okay.
This is the way I gauge you as a man and as a kindred of worth.
Okay. I'll do my best. Thank you very much, Carrion.
Thank you, Exodus.
I had to leave. Because I got lost coming here, and it's already late.
Yeah, you won't ever find your way easily. I haven't found my way easily for... I can't remember the last time I left the Warrens.
Oh, then I better get going then. But I'll be back. And I'll
I'll
see
see
you
that,
in the,
Moses.
I'll see you in the IRC chat and the BBS.
Okay.
And I do a bow. Like a very ugly bow.
The bow she does in response, it seems cut between a curtsy and a bow, is hideous and comical to watch.
Yeah.
In one cringe-worthy package, just purely because her torso is... it's completely malformed to the point where you're not quite certain where organs should be in this torso. The way she's hunched and twisted.
Yeah.
I mean, you've seen Nosferatu that look monstrous, but there is absolutely no way in hell she should be able to walk around. It's probably why, true to what she said, she hasn't left the Warrens.
Yeah, of course.
Because there's breaches and then there's breaches.
Yeah. Definitely.
But she offers it in response, and then with that crooked, uncomfortable smile, because even when her lips are shut, there's teeth jutting out.
Yeah. That's her sexy tooth.
Teeth. It's
it's
around
more than one. Nice.
You kind of got the internal fangs and then the teeth, the fangs that come out from.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're talking a true mess of Lovecraftian proportions.
Thank you for putting it that way. Now it's much more clearer.
So, as she kind of watches you go, you turn and walk off, and then as you glance back, she's not there anymore. She's gone.
No.
But you haven't heard her go. But that's not surprising to you. I mean, someone that twisted would, by necessity, have to be silent.
Amazing.
And to find out the shit that she does, I mean, she's already given you a fair bit of information. I mean, the fact that she doesn't leave the Warren and yet she knows most of this stuff is...
The fact that she gave me that bit of information without ever leaving here. Sexy Pearl 68, guys.
However, it is worth noting, the onus is now on you,
to provide something to her.
It's
and
worth
I
noting
really
that...
hope that she does not want to kiss. But I can teach her how to dance, but she's not going to want that either.
Well, it's worth noting that, particularly among the Nosferatu, there is very much the communal sense where Nosferatu can often trade favours, even like across continents.
Boons and favours.
Yeah, so it's well worth noting that the repayment of this favour should be a priority.
Yeah.
Of course, she doesn't want information. As far as she's concerned, she can get.
She can get it.
Well, unless it's something that you honestly think that she'd take in trade. But then, if you tell her that information and she doesn't consider it valuable, then you've just given her information, and the boon still stands because she's opened it by voicing she doesn't want information. So, onus is now on you, Moses. How you're going to pay that back?
Yeah.
However,
highly difficultly, but I'll manage.
Okay, so you begin making your way back up the tunnels. It takes just as long to get out as it did before. The only kind of benefit you've got now is that the distant sounds of trains are what guide you. No. And it helps speed things up to a degree. I mean, sometimes you think you're going up and it just leads to another passage that's supposed to be going down. And there's a long moment when you try and consider, not for the first time, who the fuck built these tunnels? Because they do not seem... It's like one of those pictures that has the stair that goes nowhere. It does not make sense how they've designed it. But you also get the sensation that this is probably by design in a really ironic sense. So you continue going back up, and by the time you manage to get out, it's already probably about 2 o'clock.
Yeah, 2 or 3 in the morning. I was thinking about that. So if I have enough chance to try and hunt before going to, like, end my night with hunting.
Okay.
Back in the domain.
Well, we'll cover that either in a bit or
at
the start of next, depending on how. Is there anything you guys want to get done within this interim period of time that Moses has been busy?
Jim's just still slowly going through the book. Going.
You get all the way through to the end of the book. There is no signature in there that matches what you have in your notes.
Would this have been enough time for the alcohol to have worn off?
Yes.
Yay!
For the what?
The alcohol.
Okay. Compulsion's still there.
Jim's drunk.
Yeah.
No, you're an alcoholic, which is worse.
This is just the beginning of the train, isn't it?
Drunk is a state. Alcoholism is a state.
So you go through this thick ledger, going from page to page, scanning it. You can hear Benjamin in the other room, whatever he's doing, but you're trying to tune it out just because there's that incessant focus on this book. And you go back over the pages only once, unwilling to accept that you might have missed something. And you go next page, and you have to try and remind yourself to stop being so aggressive with the book, because once or twice the mere flick of the page causes it to dislodge from the spine of the book, and you have to reset it. Knowing what Mrs. Moravsky's like with her book, you quickly, even in your state of mind, push it back in, close, and move on to the next one. And then when you finally get over, as the book shuts, there is nothing in there. Whoever came in through your window and left that note has not stayed here. But then again, it's also worth noting that when they scrawled that note, they did so quickly. So perhaps that's not their handwriting as it is when they're calm and composed. But based upon a quick cursory of each page, there's nothing in there to suggest that anyone...
Basic similarities or anything.
Not basic. I mean, there's no, like, glaring similarities between, like, the G's or the T's when they're capitalised or anything like that most people might be able to spot a pattern. There's nothing in there. And you feel increasingly antsy and frustrated, and that uncomfortably familiar tightness in your gut, the one that you normally associate with unquenchable hunger, it's there, but it's higher somehow. It's not necessarily higher in your body, but it's almost like it's in the back of your mind and pressing, and the pain that you normally have in your gut is just there, and it's the very idea of just sitting there doing nothing is making you angry. It's making you frustrated. What are you doing, Jim?
Oh, you might regret this, but he's gonna head towards Darren's place.
Darren's place. Okay.
Oh. Do you let us know that you're going, or do you just go?
No.
Awesome.
What are you doing?
See, this is all Katya's fault for not being here.
The voice of wisdom is not here.
Yes, the voice of
This
wisdom.
is all on you, Rachel.
The one who could hammer things down.
The voice of domestic violence is not present to keep Jim in check.
I didn't say that. I said we missed you.
Yes,
Remember.
we
If
do.
Katia is watching, she's probably screaming at you.
I was going to say the chat's going to be blue right now. That's fine.
So,
I mean,
continuing painting.
I think in this interim period, I'm not necessarily going to do it all night, but I will do a little bit of painting. Yeah,
Okay.
Oh, you're gonna go with the glass design.
the whole
with
glass
Katya?
design business. Yeah.
Okay.
Have
So
you started that painting yet?
you said
Well,
you were
I did the prep for it last night, but I.
You said that you were making sketches of
Will Sparring.
Will Sparring. Are you going to be... What is going to be the subject of this picture? Do you want to focus on Katia? Or do you want to focus on Will?
No, I don't want Will to come into this Katia picture. I literally just wanted to make quite an obscure sketch, actually. It's just a memory jogger. I don't really want to leave evidence if the police ever come here with like, oh look, he's drawn the picture of Will. It's just thinking about maybe just some of the curves of the way the ribs were and just little details. But no, it's a later piece. I don't want to do him here. I want to do... Edmund was very specific. I'm not going to mess.
It is worth noting that he wanted you to capture an anguish. I mean, you could do something really amazing and capture his attentions, but it's also worth noting that if you are looking at this from the point of view of this gives the art but it obscures it, he might say the same.
Yeah.
I mean, it depends. I mean...
No, I'm keeping Will out. I'm going for...
I don't mean from Will, I mean from doing the whole
Katya.
obscured Katia.
Oh, I see.
Because he wanted it in graphic detail, so making it through an obscured lens...
Yeah, okay.
I mean, I'm not saying it's not possible. I mean, Edmund has been surprised with some art that you looked at.
No,
and
I'm going to
this
do
is
it because I think he likes... Benjamin likes the idea for himself, so he's going to do that. It's I'm not trying to obscure necessarily the kind of the twists of the body or and I want parts of her face to be visible in terms of the... You know, the expression, but what I yeah, and the flappy bit. But what I don't want is something where I paint a really hyper-realistic likeness of Katia, such that someone in a gallery will go, "I've seen her." You know, I don't want a masquerade breach, effectively, or indeed make it so that if Oliver saw the picture, he would suddenly lose his rag. So so that's where that's where I'll obscure.
But I'm as happy, to be honest, to have a relatively recognisable. Like it's slightly displaced, but not, and maybe just make the face not hers. Okay. Maybe I could, I'll change some of the elements of the face, but everything else, the expression and the mood, I'll have a go and see what happens.
Okay. This will be the first part of your extended.
Yeah, that's cool.
It will take up your roll for today.
Yeah, that's fine.
Up until the point where we currently are. Make your roll.
So we're talking...
It's going to be wits plus...
Wits?
Yeah, because you're doing it by memory.
Oh, not intelligence. Actually, it makes no difference to me, to be honest.
It's more mental acuity because you are trying to...
Wits...
You're trying to picture it based upon what you recall from the scene.
Sure.
You're trying to capture it because you remember that the big thing with Edmund is honesty.
Sure.
So if it is a piece that you're roughly remembering, you know he's going to call you on it.
Yes.
So you are trying to remember exactly how she was, which ties into mental acuity and how aware you were of the circumstances and the situation. Well, not the circumstances.
So wits and craft.
It'll be what's your painting one under? Is
Craft,
that on?
yeah.
So it'll be wits plus craft with a painting. Applying.
Okay.
And this will be extended.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Out of 6 dice.
And you're doing an obscure type method, aren't you? You're doing this in a kind of eye-catching, slightly. You're trying to obscure some details about her, but still make it honest.
The only thing I'm really obscuring is her identity.
To be honest, the difficulty surrounding the piece is going to set the difficulty threshold.
Yeah, that's fine. I don't mind making it harder.
Okay.
The thing that I want it to be eye-catching, but the things that I kind of want to use the fragment things to capture some of the key bits of the expression.
Attention,
yeah. So saying, I'm making the viewer look at, that was key, that was key, that was key, and that together as a piece, you can see how the exploded piece will make a whole person.
Okay.
Pretension, etc.
Yeah.
Okay. So, how many successes?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Okay. Despite the amount of time that you have, which up until this point is not an awful lot, and if anything, the encounter with the abrupt change in Jim's demeanour has inspired you in some strange way. It brings back memories of Darren and the confrontation that ensued, and it inspires you as you begin painting and going over this piece. And it seems, for initial attempt, that her likeness just begins materializing in front of you. You haven't yet gotten to the juicy bits, but there is Katia on the page beginning to form in this strange abstract way, and you are very happy with what's coming through. Right. And you're just on the verge of continuing when you can hear coming from the front door.
From the front door?
From the front door.
I suppose I will head down towards the front door in the hope that maybe Jim gets there first.
Just as you are both coming down the stairs, the door begins opening, and the old woman that shuffles in through the door, slightly hunched, you immediately recognise as a bandaged up, very aggressive looking
Julian
Mrs. Moravsky. And as she kind of comes in, she looks over at the door, pushes it shut, stops and looks. She's got a newspaper underneath her arm. She looks as though she is
escaped the hospital in the middle of the night. It's 4 a.m. She just escaped the hospital.
Yeah,
or midnight or whatever.
Don't mess with it.
It's about coming up towards about 2 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
As you're escaping the tunnels, as you finish your work, as you decide to stalk out, Mrs. Moravsky looking as though she has literally just decided, actually, fuck this, and gotten out of the hospital and come home. Yeah. She still bears the mark and what looks to be some stitches from where she took the crowbar across the head. And as she kind of looks in, she looks around the room. She looks up at you, and there's a long moment as though she tries to remember who you are, and then the expression softens slightly as she puts down the newspaper, and then just moves over, just gestures for you to come closer.
I got a blush of life.
Okay.
Jim will do the same.
Oh yeah, you haven't gone yet.
No, he's still there.
Fab.
Still one.
Hunger 3, but not far to go.
But it does mean the blush of life is now active for the rest of the night.
Yeah. So I will go and I'll say very ginger.
Yeah, there's it's one of those hugs which is stronger than you'd expect from someone her age, but there's a surety to her grip which is in keeping with everything about Mrs. Moravsky. And as she kind of takes you away, she just grips you and taps you. And she's quite small by comparison, but she looks up at you in the eye and just like appraises you. And you get the feeling it was probably a good idea that you didn't look like a walking corpse.
Yeah.
And then she kind of reaches up, taps you on the cheek, and then just kind of dismisses you with a brush to go and get to Jim. And regardless of Jim's personal feelings, she goes and embraces him as well, and then taps him on the chin. And then just moves over towards the desk and just slumps down in her wicker chair.
So nice to have you back, Mrs. Moravsky. Anything you need?
That newspaper, dear.
James goes more nod towards her than still.
I'll get her the newspaper.
Okay.
I'll make sure she's comfortable.
You grab the newspaper and immediately you stop and glance at it. And across the top, you don't manage to see the print from how it's folded, but you can see pictured a familiar house with a familiar front door open and a familiar police, well, unfamiliar at this point, but now familiar within the context, police tape. And across the top, underneath the reporter's names, it immediately launches into details about how somebody had reported a break-in, and then the grisly details that have not yet been shared, but how one Will Sparring had been 29, had been basically butchered. It doesn't go into complete details at this point, but it is basically mentioned that it's an investigation with the police ongoing. More details are obviously going to be looked into. Nobody heard any commotion, any ruckus, and all the rest. But you managed to get through these brief bits of details before you feel more than notice Mrs. Moravsky just staring at you, waiting for this newspaper.
Oh, here you are.
Thank you.
And she opens it and just starts trying to read. And there's a long moment where she just seems to be staring at the page.
Grab me my glasses, dear.
Yeah, I'll get her her glasses. If there's any other things that she normally has, I don't know,
a cup of...
I don't know if she's a cup of tea.
I mean, to be honest, at this point, what she probably needs is either sleep, rest, or some clothes. I mean, aside from it's not like a hospital bed nightgown, but it is a nightgown that she's wearing, and slippers.
I'll say to her, would you like me to get your slippers, Mrs. Moravsky?
And she kind of lifts up her feet and just kind of wiggles them in front of you, and you can see the very old stretched skin over long thin legs and the slippers that are already on the feet. Hospital slippers. You're pretty certain she's taken them.
Oh, okay. I'll say, oh no, you're all fine then. Anything else?
Have we got any guests?
No, not at the moment.
How have you been, dear?
I've been keeping myself busy, and obviously we've done our best to keep everything, clean and tidy.
And the others?
Oh yes, they're all fine, and also busy, popping in and out. I'm sure they'll see you. The rest of them, they'll see you soon. And
it will be good to see them.
Yes, they've all been very worried about you, and we're very glad you're back.
I'm glad to be back as well. I might have murdered that doctor if he hadn't let me go.
Well, I'm very glad you didn't.
As am I. But I'm back now.
Yes. Is there anything else I can get for you?
Tea.
Tea. I'll be right on that. So I'll make her a cup of tea.
Okay. You managed to rummage around and find the tea. Mrs. Moravsky's pretty much kept most of it in her room. the room which is still open, but you managed to go in quietly and make some up. It's probably not occurred to her the fact that unless you've got tea in your rooms, you can't make tea without going into a room. But you make her up some and bring it over, and then with her bony finger, she puts down the newspaper which she's looking over, and just takes the cup and just holds it and just starts going over it, just holding it there for a long moment, and then sipping it at her with that uncomfortably loud slurp. And then it perches her feet up on the kind of wicker basket that she's got in front of her. And if it hadn't been for the scar on her head, the stitches, you probably wouldn't have assumed she'd left at all. So she goes back to the newspaper. She's still observing you both. Well, you rather. You've already gone.
Where's I forget her name. Katia.
Oh yes. She's out this evening. I'm afraid I don't know what time she's coming back, but I'm sure she'll be back soon.
Well, give her my best when you see her, love.
Oh yes, I will. Yes, I absolutely will.
You'd make a lovely couple if you don't mind my saying.
Well, I'm not sure she would agree, but it's very kind of you to say. Very kind of you. Well, I should probably be on my...
What's that smell?
Oh, we had to clean up. It's probably the bleach.
Damn it, Carlos.
Bleach?
Yes.
You didn't do that on my carpets.
Not on your carpet, on the floor. I'm very sorry. Obviously, there was something of a, well, as you know, I wanted you to come back to everything normal.
If the window's been fixed.
We've done a temporary fix, but we haven't spoken to a glazier yet, I'm afraid. But we can certainly, if you could arrange that, I'm happy to make sure it's paid for.
I will. I'll do it first thing in the morning.
That'd be one. Actually, there is something else, if you wouldn't mind organising for me.
Yes, love.
I'll come in a bit closer, glance over my shoulder, make sure no one's around.
She kind of puts her hands on either side of the chair and just leans forward. Anybody watching would think this was like some sort of overly dramatic theatre, but she needs to shift, so she leans closer.
If I was to give you a little bit of money, I was wondering if you'd be kind enough to order some clothes in for Jim Roy Woods.
Who's Jim Roy Woods?
You know, the gentleman you just welcomed after me. The one who just went out.
What, Roy?
Oh yes, Roy, yes.
I think you're losing your mind, love.
Oh, it's been I haven't been sleeping well lately, if I'm honest. Yes.
You should take better care of yourself.
You're quite right. My mother would agree with you.
Well, she's a smart woman.
Yes. Oh, she's frighteningly so.
And what are you doing up at this hour?
Well, I was actually in my room about to retire, but I heard the door and I came to see what was going on.
Thinking those people came back.
Well, I was worried, but I was a wonderful...
You watch, next time they won't catch me unaware. I'll give him a thick fucking ear.
Yes, well, good. Well, they deserve a thick ear, don't they?
Yeah, sucker punched.
But yes, maybe I'll leave it to your discretion, Mrs. Moravsky, but maybe a nice top or two, and perhaps some jeans or good... rugged, for people who like to go and get lots of things done, that kind of good working clothes, that sort of thing. But yes, if you, I'll be very grateful, and I'll make sure you have the money. Don't worry about that.
What's your limit?
Oh, I mean, we're not talking about, I don't know, £100.
Oh. Well, I can get in something nice for £100.
Yes, that will be wonderful. Yes, I think that's everything.
Oh, well, you have a nice night, dear. You turn in.
Yes, I will.
And I'll see you in the morning.
Yes. Good night.
Good night.
She watches you go and then goes back to the newspaper.
Okay.
Is that everyone?
Hunting.
hunting.
For the rest of the night.
Without me.
Yes, yes.
We are
I
going
need
to
me time.
bring it to an end there because there's reasons why we're bringing it to an end there, and we haven't got enough time to launch into.
A hunt, yeah.
Yeah.
Or anything else.
Yeah. But I believe, aside from the initial, the audio issue, and it was just an audio issue, I believe.
Yeah.
We didn't have any loss of connection, so hopefully.
Yay, Dylan.
Fixed it.
Yay,
Way to
Dylan.
go.
Means, Dylan, the answer.
Yeah, we
Spam kappa for
I mean-
our staff.
Try not to jinx it. I mean, Sod's Law says it not. I've said that,
Yeah.
but we are working out. Thank you very much, guys, for coming and listening again and watching. And next week we should have Rachel back, I believe.
Yeah.
She's back by this point. You've been Miss Rachel, and when you're back,
That's true.
Of course, if anyone wants to guess what the compulsion that I've got is, feel free to message. We'll
Oh yeah,
we'll find it if you're right.
and
Send messages.
once Rachel's back, we'll be able to go into what Katya's been up to. So, anyway, thank you very much, guys, for watching, and we will see you next Monday.
Thank you very much.
Hashtag Malop.
Bye.
It's
Bye.
Malop.
Oh God.
Those are the amazing list of places.